Good evening and welcome to the Scotiabank Pond. It's time for the 9th annual GTHL Top Prospects game powered by Under Armour. Hello everybody, I am beyond excited and actually extremely thankful to be back on the air talking GTHL hockey with the one and only Peter Curtis. I'm Bill Giannopoulos, the same guy you got used to over the last 5 years, just with a last name that somehow has managed to get even more Greek. But Pete, as I was driving up, now this is our 6th edition of us two doing the game together, and as I was driving to the rink today, I was thinking to myself, you know, this is a game where it's not a traditional all-star game. These guys give it their all. This is a serious hockey game, and before we talk about alumni and celebrity coaches and the players playing tonight, I was thinking to myself, every game has had a big moment, a memorable moment that we've had over the last 6 years doing this together, and it just goes to show just the quality of hockey we've had at these prospect games.
Well, I'll throw it out, the 2-0 game, which everyone thought was boring because it wasn't 8-7. The scouts loved. Nick Mucci was the MVP. He was added late, and the scouts came out and said, we saw every single player back check in a prospects game. You don't see that in an all-star game. They're playing to win. They know it's being recorded. They know about the OHL draft, so it's a competitive game.
Now, Pete, as well, when we talk about this game, and as I mentioned sort of off the top, this isn't your top 40 players that are top 40 scoring in the GTHL, which is one of the things that I really love about this, is that the top shutdown defensemen are here. The top back checkers are here through the neutral zone. The top forward checkers are here, the guys who battle in the corners. This is a little bit of a mix of a lot of players who are really good at doing what they do, and they're here to bring that to the forte in front of not just the scouts, but hockey fans who want to have a glimpse of what the future of hockey is going to look like.
Well, I watched the practices last night, and I tell you, Bill, there was some big, rangy defensemen that didn't give anyone a chance to get around them in practice, let alone in a game. So I'm excited to see them step up against some of the fastest players in the league.
We'll talk now, before we get into the celebrity coaches, let's start with some of the players we're going to look into here tonight. And for Team Graves, Primo, and Tucker, that's the team in the white jerseys, let's start off by talking about the Toronto Marlies defenseman. You'll see him there at number 2, Jamie Drysdale.
Well, he's highly rated, and it's because of the mobility. What you'll see on defense is he can cut with the forwards, but what I really love about his offensive game, he can change the point of attack. If it's on the power play and you see defensemen get very static and stay in one spot, well, Drysdale, he'll dance along the blue line, open up some shooting lanes, and that mobility really shows when he has the puck on his stick.
And we're going to focus on a forward from the Graves, Primo, Tucker combination, and that is from the Vaughan Kings. This guy's got a lot of skill, and he's on a lot of people's radar, Cole Perfetti.
Well, I say puck possession every time I see Perfetti. And what that means is every guy here can stick handle, every guy can skate. Perfetti can do it at top speed with the puck on his stick. That's what you're going to see tonight from Perfetti, and you can see why the Vaughan Kings offense generates a lot out of Perfetti having the puck on his stick.
And now while the warm-ups continue, let's talk quickly here about the Team Clark, Weaver, and Corson players to watch, and a big stalwart at the back end for the Mississauga Reps. That's Owen Power. Oh,
Power's got the big wingspan. You'll see guys try to get around him, think they're by him, and he's still right beside them, taking away shooting angles.
And from the Toronto Titans, Jean-Luc Foudy, whose older brother used to play for the London Junior Knights. Now he's representing his craft in the OHL with the London Knights. And this is his younger brother, Jean-Luc Foudy.
Speedster, absolute speed demon. One of the guys that has a little bit of pizzazz out there. You'll see him out there with the hair sticking out of the bucket. A fun player to watch.
All right, with that being said, time for us to take a quick break. Coming up, though, player introductions, ceremonial puck drop, and then we're going to drop the puck on the 9th annual GTHL Top Prospects game. We can't wait to get this one going.
Let's meet the teams, starting with Team Graves, Primo Tucker. First, playing goaltender from the Vaughan Kings, number 1, Marco Costantini. From the Don Mills Flyers, playing goaltender, number 30, Joseph Verbetic. Playing defense from the Toronto Marlboros, number 2, Jamie Drysdale. From the Von Kings, playing defense and wearing the number 3, Ryan O'Rourke. From the Von Kings, playing defense and wearing the number 4, Austin Tarazio. From the Von Kings, playing defense and wearing the number 5, Anthony Costantini. From the Toronto Marlboros, playing defense and wearing the number 6, Leighton Moore. From the Toronto Marlboros, playing defense and wearing the number 7, Nick Enero. From the Toronto Marlboros, playing forward and wearing the number 8, Cameron Peters. From the Von Kings, wearing the number 9 and playing forward, Tyler Tullio. From the Toronto Marlboros, playing forward and wearing the number 10, William Coyle. From the Von Kings, playing forward and wearing number 11, Cole Perfetti. From the Toronto Marlboros, playing forward and wearing the number 12, Stephen Holliday. From the Don Mills Flyers, wearing 14 and playing forward, William Portacales. From the Toronto Marlboros, playing forward and wearing the number 15, Riley Piercy. From the Toronto Marlboros, playing forward and wearing the number 16, Ryan Alexander. From the Toronto Marlboros, playing forward and wearing the number 17, McKay Hayes. From the Toronto Marlboros, playing forward and wearing the number 18, Reed Valad. From the Von Kings, playing forward and wearing the number 19, Eric Russell. From the Don Mills Flyers, playing forward and wearing the number 20, Matthew Percipali. And now the coaches. Born in Toronto, where he played his minor hockey in the MTHL. He went on to play 1,152 regular season games in the NHL, winning the Stanley Cup as a New York Ranger in '94. His number 9 jersey was retired by the Rangers in 2009, and he currently works with the team in hockey and business operations. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Adam Graves. Joining Mr. Graves behind the bench, he was born in Scarborough and also played his minor hockey in the MTHL. He was a first-round pick of the Buffalo Sabres in the '94 entry draft, and his NHL career spanned over 15 seasons with 7 NHL clubs. He wrapped up his pro career playing with his hometown Toronto Maple Leafs in 2010. Please welcome Wayne Primo. Last but not least, he is one of only 4 players to win the Memorial Cup on 3 occasions. The Castor, Alberta native is best remembered as a gritty winger with the Leafs between '99 and 2008. He was not drafted until the 6th round of the '93 NHL entry draft, but this did not stop him from racking up 947 regular season games with 4 NHL clubs, including 531 with the Toronto Maple Leafs. Please welcome Darcy Tucker. The assistant coach for Team Graves Primo Tucker is Richard Power from the Toronto Marlboros. And the trainer for Team Graves Primo Tucker is Matt Miller, also from the Toronto Marlboros. And now for Team Clark Corson Weaver, from the Mississauga Reps and playing goaltender, number 1, Tristan Lennox. From the Toronto Young Nats, playing goaltender and wearing the number 30, Chase Clark. From the Junior Canadians, playing defense and wearing the number 2, Michael Bianconi. From the Mississauga Reps, playing defense and wearing the number 3, Owen Power. Playing defense and wearing the number 4, Nolan Dillingham Morelli. From the Junior Canadians, playing defense and wearing the number 5, Daniel Jacob. From the Toronto Titans, playing defense and wearing the number 6, Owen Porter. From the Mississauga Senators, playing defense and wearing the number 7, Thomas Haynes. From the Junior Canadians, playing forward and wearing the number 8, Dylan Robinson. From the Mississauga Reps, playing forward and wearing the number 9, Ethan Graham. From the Mississauga Reps, playing forward and wearing the number 10, Jake Uberti. From the Mississauga Reps, wearing the number 11 and playing forward, Jonah DeSimone. From the Mississauga Reps, playing forward and wearing the number 12, Matthew Papes. From the Mississauga Rebels, playing forward and wearing the number 14, Rory Cairns. From the Mississauga Reps, playing forward and wearing the number 15, Aiden Hughes. From the Mississauga Reps, playing forward and wearing the number 16, Davis Young. From the Mississauga Senators, playing forward and wearing the number 17, Elias Cohen. From the Mississauga Senators, playing forward and wearing the number 18, Sebastian Bulovs. From the Toronto Red Wings, playing forward and wearing the number 19, Kyle Jackson. And from the Toronto Titans, John Luke Foudy. And now the coaches. He was born in Kelvington, Saskatchewan, but now calls Toronto home. He followed up an impressive junior career by being selected first overall by the Toronto Maple Leafs in the 1985 NHL entry draft. He was named captain of the Leafs in 1991-92 and helped the team reach consecutive conference finals in 93 and 94. His number 17 jersey was retired by Toronto in 2016. He currently works as a community representative with the Leafs organization. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Wendell Clark. Alongside Clark behind the bench is another fan favorite with Leaf supporters. Born in Midland, Ontario, he was selected in the first round of the '84 NHL entry draft by the Montreal Canadiens. He played 1,156 regular season NHL games, including 197 over 3 seasons with the Toronto Maple Leafs. Please welcome Shane Corson. Finally, he was born in nearby Bramalea. Undrafted by the NHL, he still went on to play 633 games in the league over 14 seasons. He helped the Montreal Canadiens reach the NHL Conference Finals in the spring of 2014. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mike Weaver. The assistant coach for Team Clark Corson Weaver is Daniel Siska from the Junior Canadians. And the trainer for Team Clark Corson Weaver is Bryn Stainsby, also from the Junior Canadians. Scott Oakman isn't here? Broussard isn't here. Okay. The GTHL is proud to welcome Under Armour as the title sponsor of the GTHL Top Prospects game, powered by Under Armour. Here tonight to take part in the ceremonial puck drop, representing Under Armour is Senior Sports Marketing Manager Dan Schofield, along with the Executive Director and Chief Operating Officer of the Greater Toronto Hockey League, Scott Oakman. And the star of Coach's Corner on Hockey Night in Canada, Donald S. Cherry. With number 7, Nick Anero from Team Graves Primo Tucker, and number 20, John-Luc Foudy from Team Clark Corson Weaver, please come to center ice to take the ceremonial puck drop. To let them leave the ice. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we ask that you please rise if able to. Remove your caps and if possible face the flag for the playing of our national anthem.
Welcome back, Bill Giannopoulos, Peter Curtis. It's the 9th annual GTHL Top Prospects game, the 6th in a row that we are working, and we're excited here because there's a lot of big-time players on the ice for each respective side. Now, Pete, as we like to do on all our broadcasts, we talked about the coaches and seen the players so far in a great introduction done by Doug Ireland, our PA announcer. How about we talk a little bit about the referees and the linesmen for this big game?
Well, of course, they may have been overlooked in the intros, and that's okay. It's about the players and the coaches tonight. But yeah, referees Shane Steenhook, Dan O'Callahan, and on the lines, Justin Noble and Dan Ricci. So they're having a great season as well, just like the players. And this is a big deal to get one of these games on your resume.
Absolutely, and your starting goaltenders, we know we're going to see all 4 goalies here tonight in this one, but starting, you saw him a moment ago for Team Clark, Weaver, and Corson. It was Tristan Lennox of the Reps, and just there it was Marco Constantini of the Vaughan Kings. He'll get the nod for Team Graves, Primo, and Tucker. They're in the white jerseys. Team Clark, Weaver, and Corson, they are in the dark jerseys, and we are moments away here from dropping the puck. Pete, how about these celebrity coaches combined? 5,455 NHL games played and several appearances for most of these guys too, coming out and participating in this event.
And you always wonder, will the players actually know who these guys are? You know, they're a little bit older than when they remember, you know, when they started watching hockey, but with YouTube, social media now, they can go look up Wendell Clark, they can go look up the Primo brothers, they can look up anyone, and they definitely know who these NHLers are on the bench.
Well, the players are fired up, and here we go. Puck is dropped in the Scotiabank Pond. It is a full house right now. It's almost standing room only, as the fans are ready here for a big Prospects game, as the puck right now worked in deep by Team Graves. This one's cleared out. Big hit there by Cooley of the Toronto Marlies. Now Cooley gets it. Power's on him. Cooley with the quick shot, and there's your first save of the hockey game. There are two big boys skating after each other there, in Cooley and Power, as this one's cleared out. Speaking of Power, big defenseman for the Mississauga Reps, leads the rush the other way. Pappas pursues it. Ringed around the boards there by Team Graves. Settled down by Enero. Enero goes up high, and it is out of play for our first stoppage in play at the 19:13 mark here in the first period at the Scotiabank Pond. We have, representing the GTHL minor midgets, 10 Marlies, 8 Reps, 7 Vaughan Kings, a couple of Rebels and Titans, 3 members of the Sens, Junior Canadians and Flyers, and 1 Red Wing and 1 Toronto Young National. That's what makes up the top 40 here at our 9th annual GTHL Top Prospects game. And Peter, every year it's hard to pick 40. It's even harder to pick 4 goalies.
You know, there's always some controversy. Like you look at one of the goaltenders now, Chase Clark, we'll see him probably in the second half of the game. He's playing on the last place Toronto Young National. So what does that tell you? That the scouts are out there and they're not looking at stats or box scores. They see skill. And watching the practices last night, Bill, this was the first year in a long time the coaches actually put them through some lines to get some gelling done.
Right on.
A lot of the players wanted a serious practice. Now, it wasn't an hour and a half. I mean, it's the day before a big game. But there were some line combinations and some units working together. So trying to find some instant chemistry.
Here's Foodie now with speed. You called him a speedster. Puck across, big save. It's loose. They score. Team Clark opens up the scoring. It looks as though it was Dylan Robinson from the Toronto Junior Canadians on a great rush, though, and that was a prime example of the speed being shown by Team Clark. Here's a look at the replay. Foodie sends it across the initial stop. That's a great save, but not much he can do on the rebound.
Well, you can see the white shirts collapse there, but really the sticks weren't active to take away the scoring chance. And what I really like there, Foodie's wide. He's got that great speed. He brings a defenseman over. It creates a 2-on-1. It opens up the scoring early. And we'll see how the white team responds, right? I mean, you've got the coaches there. They're going to let the guys have a good run. Richard Power, the Marlies coach, he's a competitive guy, but he wants to get the kids back into the groove right now.
You're right about an early goal. That was 1 minute and 28 seconds into the first period. We'll see if that's foreshadowing the game to come, if we'll see a ton of goals here in this one. Peters now in his skates, kicks it. Bulovs down low, gets the puck right back from the circle. His shot, too many sticks in the way of that. And now for a chance to break out, it is Halliday. One thing about the Marlies, and we'll talk about the performance that they put on as a team so far in the regular season, Pete, as here's a quick shot from Piercy, but big bodies on the Toronto Marlies. And in days of old, you thought big bodies, you think not a great skating team. They are big bodies that can fly.
Well, big bodies, you think of Chris Prong or figuring out how he's going to use those feet of his, right? And now the big guys can skate just as good as the not-so-big guys. As I always get in trouble when I say the little guys too, right, Bill? But, I mean, everyone's a great skater. And the way the game has changed now, you can't put the hook on, the hold. And so defensemen have to be just as good. And even you and I will watch warm-ups. Goalies are great skaters too when they come out and show off their skills.
And how many of them now have the ability to come out and play the puck and act as that third defenseman?
Absolutely. So
puck here, back to the point. O'Rourke. That shot was deflected wide by Hayes. D. Simone tries to get that one out. He has support trailing him. Now the puck is out of the zone. Cairns loses it in his skates. Here on the near side, O'Rourke. That's a quick pass. Hayes unable to control that. D. Simone puts it forward. Nobody there for the dark jerseys as Russell comes back the other way. Russell loses it at the blue line. Good call there by one of our linesmen. It's Ricci. right there on the blue line. And we'll have a stoppage in play.
And you talk about the Marlies' great season. I mean, first place, 22-1-1. So we've had seasons where that first place championship's being contested all year long. The Marlies have already put their little stamp on it right now. And it's really opened up a great battle when you look at what the Reps and Kings or Flyers trying to do. But certainly you can see why the Marlies have 10 players in this game.
Yeah, there's definitely some distance there in the number 1 spot. As here's another delayed offside, finally whistled down. And right now it's the top 4 teams that are really standing out here in this loop. I mean, we know what the Marlies have done, and that lone loss was against the Don Mills Flyers. They're one of those top 4 teams. In fact, trailing the Marlies by 10 points are the Reps. Then it's a little bit of a cluster there as you have the Reps with 35 points, the Kings and Flyers both with 32, and pardon me, the JRC. So it's a 5-man race there towards the top teams. As we mentioned, the Marlies a bit of separation, but teams 2 to 5, Pete, really a winning streak or a losing streak can define where you finish at the end of the day and where you'll seed in the playoffs, because we always know that first round, the 4-5 matchup, can be a tough one.
It's a toughie, and the 4-5 would then go on to play the number 1 Marlies. So I think you see second and third, very important.
Yep.
And really that 4th place team, I mean, I guess you could go out and say, hey, we'll have the tough series against the 5 seed, and then we'll just take the Marlies out in the second round.
Here is Cooley, speaking of the Marlies, enters the zone. Nice pass across, gets the puck back. That was Portocalis out there with him. He protects the puck. This is Perfetti, teammate of Portocalis. Pardon me, Portocalis on the Don Mills Flyers.
Well, you got a King, a Flyer, and a Marley,
Yeah,
so
got one
not
of
hard for
everything
the
out
coaches
there.
to come up with good line combinations in a prospects game.
Teammate tonight. Yeah, I can save myself with that.
Oh, absolutely.
As this one's cleared out of the zone by Team Graves, Primo, and Tucker. Of course, as mentioned in the intro, Adam Graves, former Stanley Cup champion. Wayne Primo, who coached in this loop a year ago, and his son is now succeeding in his first year in the OHL. And of course, Darcy Tucker, as you mentioned, a fan favorite here in Toronto.
Well, you look at GTHL coaching-wise, Wendell Clark coached here.
Yep.
Tucker's currently coaching. The Primos were there. I mean, Dylan Corson's son played. So, I mean, you're looking at, I said, sorry, Shane Corson's son, Dylan played. So, I mean, They were hockey dads. They were guys who had to show up at the rink an hour and a half before and have the hot chocolate and say, what am I doing here so early? Because their kids have played in the loop. And watching Mason Primo last year and Eric Ciccolini and just some of those names, a couple different routes. One's doing OJHL, one's doing OHL, but still at the same level. The scouts are still talking about them finding a different path. You know, it's not just one way, and it's got to be that way for the players to find a hockey future.
Interesting, too, you mentioned Eric Ciccolini. Scotiabank Pond is now his home ice, as he was traded from the Milton IceHawks to the Toronto Junior Canadians of the OJHL. And as a 16-year-old, Pete, he's putting up some impressive numbers, especially on a team that was struggling where he came from in the Milton IceHawks. As play continues now in the defensive zone of Team Graves. As Peter mentioned, also Shane Corson, who had 19 seasons in the NHL, and newcomer, of course, Mike Weaver, 14 seasons in the NHL. He's new to the staff here.
And he's a current GTHL coach.
Yep.
He's at minor
Add him
Pee
to
Wee.
the list.
So you look at what these guys go through. They go up to the pros, and then you go back when your kids start playing, and it's my skates are too tight, Dad, loosen them up, and my skates are not sharpened properly. The things that we used to drive our parents nuts about when we were 7 or 8 or 9 years old playing hockey.
As we have another stoppage in play, here is a look at Marco Constantini.
I call him the Cat. And I know that might get you confused. You might call him Catstastini or Felix Potvin, but
That's what I was
very mobile, very athletic. You're going to see the big reflexes come out and make some big saves. And at the other end, you take a look at the starting goaltender, Tristan Lennox. He's just a big square. You can't see the net when he's in position. The mesh behind him doesn't exist. He doesn't give the shooters much to look at.
Great pace early on in this first period as both teams showcasing that skating ability, and we talked about it with the big guys or the guys that aren't as big. That's one thing now with the scouts that they're really looking for. It's what these guys are like as characters in the dressing room and off the ice. And absolutely, you obviously want to talk about skills on the ice as well, but skating ability is so important. The way you skate without the puck is here's a chance for an odd man rush for Team Graves. That pass intercepted. Good defensive play there by Haynes. For Savali, though, it's a 2-on-0 down low in front. Oh, what a chance. Great save by Tristan Lennox. You wonder how those two were left all alone.
It's just a bad line change, right? I mean, they haven't had a chance to play as a team. Right now, it's a mess for Team Black there with the line change with Clark, Weaver, and Corson. Daniel Siska, the junior Canadians coach, might just be smiling, saying, okay, it's not a regular season game. They'll figure it out.
Almost got a little confused there, thinking they were in their own defensive end with both of them down low.
It's one of those when you look at what they're doing. They're playing 320s tonight, a little bit longer game, so they want to take that shorter shift too, right? The third period, they want to show everyone they can go a long game here, right?
Here's a nice shot there. Durazio perhaps intentionally shooting it wide there with a big kick off the backboards. Nobody was there to put it home. There's a nice shimmy.
Owen Power showing you what we've talked about, right? Mobility, got out of the way of a big hit there.
There's Durazio, stop, rebound! Cooley puts it up and over the net. Oh, what a chance. He was left all alone, unmarked in the slot as well. A couple of high-quality scoring chances here for Team Graves. However, they trail by one. Dylan Robinson opened up the scoring at the 128 mark. Here's Power now. Ooh, quick release there. That might have hit the stick of the goaltender. And Constantini and stayed out. Now a battle behind the net. Brought back out to the half wall. Chipped in. Dillingham Morelli thought about it, but then he remembered that a few moments ago, two opponents snuck in behind everybody, so he thought better. Here's Perfetti showcasing that skill, and on the backhand, it is Tristan Lennox, though, putting on a show, bailing out his team because there's been a couple of quality chances come at him, and he keeps a goose egg on the scoreboard.
Well, you take a look at the replay. Lennox has got to read it off the backhand. Very deceiving. Perfetti puts it upstairs, and I like the fact Lennox stays big, stays tall. He's not at the bottom of the net. He's covering as much of the net as possible.
This line with Perfetti, Portocalis. Oh, there's a big hit by Dillingham Morelli. And like we mentioned in the opening, this isn't an all-star game. These guys are going to throw their weight around. They will battle. As the 9th annual prospect game continues. Here's a quick shot, another blocker save. It's starting to tilt a little bit more here, and Team Graves putting on some pressure here on Team Clark, Weaver, Corson. Well, they do exit their end. It's a 2-on-2 rush going the other way through the neutral zone. Pappas down low, loses the puck to Drysdale. He chips it off the boards, and now this one's out. 3-on-1. Halliday with Perfetti. Halliday gets it back. Cross ice. Oh, baby, what a save. Are you kidding me? Tristan Lennox. Great read there, getting across. And that was robbery.
Well, it all starts with Drysdale at the other end. He beats two forecheckers on the backhand. It opens up the 3-on-1. I love the unselfish play here by the team in white for the Graves side, saying, you know what, let's pass it around. And what an amazing save. Even if you knew the pass was going that way, wow, you still have to be amazing to make a save like that.
That was unbelievable. Tristan Lennox of the Mississauga Reps. And the Mississauga Reps, and you can see why they have the second best. Oh, here's another chance down low. Now it's Peterson all alone, and he scores. Only so many times a player can be left right there in that area, and you keep the score at 0. And finally, Team Graves, Primo, and Tucker, they strike. It was Peters who got stopped a moment ago on that great opportunity. He puts it home to tie this game up at 1.
Oh, everyone's swimming upstream. They forget, hey, let's get the puck out of the zone first. And like you said, Peters has already had a couple of opportunities, and he found a little bit of room to go upstairs over the blocker and make it a 1-1 game.
That was just past the halfway mark here in this first period, so we're all tied up. Now Halliday takes it wide. There's really been some momentum built up for the white team here over their last few shifts. They've been attacking wave after wave, rolling their lines. Here's another quick clearance, and here they come once again. Peters, the goal scorer.
Halliday.
Halliday and Pearson.
Time of the goal, 10:07.
Halliday records the assist. So a moment ago, it was that connection, but a big save by Lennox. They come back a few seconds later, Pete. and they even up the scoring.
Well, you can see everyone's getting into the pattern here. Get over to the boards, 45-second shift. Got to work a little bit harder on the back check. You see Persabali tries to get around Power. It looked like he was right there. Power just gets the big reach and takes it off his stick.
Yeah, not with the stick reach like that. Here's a pass. Oh, up the middle, dangerous, almost intercepted. Foodie has it. His pass, that's a turnover. Persabali coming back the other way off a change. Power was thinking about it. Quick shot. Nice save once again. That's into the breadbasket. And I was just about to say, you can see now when you look statistically, the Mississauga Reps only allowing 1.8 goals against per game, second best in this loop. A lot of it comes not just with great defense, but the guy between the pipes has put on a clinic all year.
Oh, he's out there. He's challenging. He's a big body. A few of the spots on the internet saying he's 6'2". Well, at the practice, he looked a lot bigger than 6'2" when he walked by me. So use every inch of your frame. And you don't want to typecast him here, Bill, and say, I'm saying he's big and he's not mobile. He's big and mobile.
Yeah.
I mean, Ben Bishop comes to mind.
Yep.
You know, a big goalie like that still has to move around. And you saw that on that 3-on-1, that mobility to go post to post. It's part of his skill set as well.
Really an unbelievable save. And right now, his team could be down 3-1 potentially with some of the quality chances that Graves, Primo, and Tucker's side have put together. Now here's a quick shot the other way, goes off the side of the net. Big kick off the backboards.
Good safe play. Now you're starting to see the guys say, safe play, 1-1. We've given up a goal. I tell you, the neutral zone's really tough to get through tonight.
Yeah.
Usually a regular season game, there's a little bit more room. Not tonight.
Here's Durazio right into the glove. And calm and cool and under control, Tristan Lennox making another save. No, Pete, since 2010, over 300 players have participated in the GTHL prospect game. And we've had 59 of those players drafted the NHL. That list is growing. And we're getting some household names as well that are coming out of this loop. I think the one that comes to mind, other than Peter Curtis, of course, might be Connor McDavid.
Well, certainly that was a great year. McDavid playing up. And I still think Joshua Hosang was his natural age group, was in the same year and was overshadowed by McDavid. And I'm still telling people, Hosang's the guy you got to watch on the Islanders because he was overshadowed that minor midget year. And all of a sudden, if he had been on his own, you would have heard a lot more people saying, well, this Hosang guy should be on the junior team, should be here, should be there.
Of course, another one, if you're a fan of the Toronto Maple Leafs, that Mitch Marner, playing as a Don Mills Flyer, kind of unknown at the time, sort of made a name for himself around that time, and everybody said, oh, he might be a little small to make it all the way and play professionally, but we've seen other players like Johnny Gaudreau at the NHL level who said it doesn't matter what your size is, it's about your skill level, really.
You just have to look at the Leafs, right?
Yep.
Marner, Nylander, two guys that you'd walk by at the mall, Bill, and you'd say, who are those little guys? And all of a sudden, they're NHL players.
Yep.
They're making big money, doing great things in the NHL. And then obviously you stick in an Austin Matthews every now and then as well, the big guy down the middle.
There's Uberti with a shot. Big rebound kicked out. And it was Pappas, I believe, who just fired that one wide from the slot area. Coming back a little bit with some momentum of their own for Team Clark, Weaver, and Corset. Here's a good shift after they've been predominantly held in their own end for the last little bit. There's a shot that doesn't get through. You had about 4 goalies in front of Constantini, and here's a chance back the other way. Backhander across. Oh, what a pass and play. They were looking to celebrate as well. I believe that was Tullio.
Portoklis, I mean, he puts it across there when no one expected. A great pass by him through the middle.
Some real creative plays here from the team in white, as here's another chance. This one, Durazio coming back for the Vaughan Kings. Keeps it alive. Takes a bump from Uberti. And Durazio thought about stepping in and holding the line. He plays it safe. Just dumps it in. Power as both teams are making changes. We're past the 6-minute marker with 6 minutes to go, in the first period. Now it's flying by. Here's Robinson. He has the lone goal for his side. He was looking for another, but there's a nice save. And it doesn't even, we talk about the guys in the NHL, but think about the success we've seen with the AHL, the OHL, some players going on, as here's a look at that last chance for the white team.
Unselfish
NCAA,
play.
OJHL, World Junior Championships, Memorial Cups, RBC Cups. There's a stamp of a GTHL player in almost any major tournament in North America?
Well, you know, I did a little Billy G work today. I did research.
Okay.
And I got so much
Glad
stuff
you finally,
to use
it
tonight.
only took 6 years.
OHL, NHL, AHL. I got World Junior stuff, but there's no way I'm getting it in tonight if we keep playing like this, right? Like, when are you going to throw your research in?
Yeah, they're not really
I
giving
mean,
us a chance to do that.
It's a track meet. It's a track meet.
Yeah.
So if we have maybe a puck out of play, maybe we'll be able to squeeze in a few stats and show people, hey, I was doing my day job and a little bit of work on this today.
This is pushed back to the point. Shot there, blocked aside casually. Puck bounces up. Players were looking for it. They find it. And play continues. Halliday, chips it forward. Here's a chance now for a one-on-one. Peters bursting past his man. Great stick there. Biacconi. No panic, too. He knew he wasn't going to get in front of the attacker. It's just a smart stick, getting back and negating that scoring chance.
The junior Canadians defenseman made it look simple. That was a great scoring chance. Skating, positioning, and putting his stick right in the right spot. Not even close to getting a penalty, and he shut it down. What a great play by him.
The junior Canadians have had some pretty good defensemen over the years. One's in the NHL that I could think of, Jacob Chikrin. Another one just got loaned to Team Canada for the World Juniors, and that was his teammate in Victor Mete, one of the fastest players I think I can remember watching at this loop, Pete. But it's unbelievable, some of the talent. And Ryan Merkley, who's now with the Guelph Storm in the OHL. All three of those players coming out of the junior Canadian system.
Well, I love the World Juniors, Bill, but you know what? Every year, there's guys in the NHL that should be in the World Juniors. They're that young. The World Juniors is missing like 10 guys every year because they're still in the NHL, playing at the age of 18 or 19 instead of being available for the World Junior Tournament.
Every year they're getting younger and younger in the NHL. It's been fun to watch, though. No doubt the product, I mean, it's been great.
And Mete's going to enjoy that, right? I mean, he's in an NHL team, and then all of a sudden he gets to go to the World Juniors. Who knows what happens when he comes back? I mean, if he gets sent to London, and they thought they were going to kind of be retooling this year, look out once again for the London Knights.
Here's a quick shot. Nice shot block by O'Rourke. That's what we're talking about here in this prospects game. Now O'Rourke, though, turns it over, and Porter didn't miss by much. Looking top corner. One great play, getting down to block a shot, and then quickly feeling some pressure. That's tossed up the middle, and Porter unable to bury.
Well, Porter's the one Toronto Titan playing in this game, so you know what? He wants to make a good impression, and he went out there. Of course, Foodie as well, two of them, but Porter's got the big shot, and that time he went wrist shot. I thought he was going to go for the big bazooka there and scare the heck out of the goalie.
As this one comes out, it's back in, paddled forward. Whoop, there by Constantini. Whoa! That one's thrown right through the crease. Nobody home for Team White. Now a chance for Alexander to regroup. You know, something we see too in the first period of every prospect game. Maybe a couple of miscues. Beautiful saucer pass! Great chance for Vlad. And I believe Lennox got another piece of that one. Talk about premium scoring opportunities here for Team Graves, Primo, and Tucker.
We're going to have our first penalty of the game. There you go, partner, referee Dan O'Callaghan gets the first one. A stick that he just doesn't want to have to call, you know, prospects game. Let's try and keep it 5-on-5, but a good call with the cross check. But that's on the backhand. That's your video game move, right? I mean, you can do that in front of your PS4, and then we can't even raise it if you and I go out on the ice.
That's the only way I can do it. I was about to say.
So now it's real easy to come up with the crew for the power play, right? When you're the coaches in a game like this.
Who, anybody?
Next line up.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, Pete, even in the previous prospects game, we've seen a couple of defensive miscues or some missed opportunities on breakouts, but think about how these guys really are used to being opponents and not teammates.
It's the forecheck. It's absolutely fierce, and everyone's committed to it.
There's Drysdale with an opportunity. We saw him as a call-up player a year ago with the Toronto Marlies, and he didn't look out of place, and now he's really done a great job leading the way, and he's at the top or near the top of a lot of scouts' lists here for the upcoming OHL draft. As Bianconi works that one across, Uberti, 1-on-3, brings in. Remember, with all the skill out here, though, even when you're short-handed, we might see opportunities for a team to get some scoring chances. Portocalis into the zone. Calmly there to Perfetti. O'Rourke Now has it. Shot almost gets through. Now a chance down low. Right back to the point. Winding up Durazio with the shot. That just goes wide. Perhaps a chance now for Pappas to clear. And he does just that. Ooh. Yep, that'll be a penalty. We will see a 5-on-3 in a Prospects game. And
if they give it up, Pappas had good positioning, but once the puck turned around, once the player curled around, he had to give up the hit there, right? I mean, he wasn't going to get the hit. He kind of threw the arms out, and that's going to be an easy call. And you know what? They're going to call that in the OHL, the NCAA, the American League, the National League. So get used to it. See, you can see a great move by the defenseman O'Rourke to spin around, say, you know what, Pappas, I'm changing directions, and you're not sticking with me. And you just got to ease up a bit and say, you know what, I can't throw that hit again.
Well, we'll have 35 seconds of a 5-on-3. That's a big face-off win there in the neutral zone by Foodie. That's going to kill at least a good 10-15 seconds of this 5-on-3.
And look at his back check. The guy is a track star on ice.
No kidding. This might be the first 5-on-3 we've seen in the 6 years of doing this together, though. It's not very common, but a lot of weapons out there right now for the team in white. Here's Moore. Moore walking in, quick shot, stopped there by Lennox, loose puck, and they score! They give that to another Marley, Riley Piercy, right out in front of the slot, number 15, puts it home, and give Graves, Primo, and Tucker the 1-goal lead. Initial stop there by Lennox. It's just too many men there in the slot area.
White shirts poking away. Lennox makes a big save. Gets the rebound, the third attempt. Hey, it's on the power play, and they still have a little bit more time to work. 1:24 to go in the Pappas penalty here, and a minute to go in the period.
And normally we'd say, we'll see as we've got a minute to go for the second period. We've got a bit of a treat tonight, Pete. Some 3-on-3 with the Bantam AAA, so we're getting a little sneak peek at perhaps some of the players that will be participating in this event in the 2018 edition.
It's going to be a 10-minute run time. There won't be face-offs. It'll be 3-on-3. We're going to try and get the players' names in, but it'll be just as fast as this, Bill. We're going to be really struggling to get everybody in the game. But, yeah, we'll let you know who the Bantam guys are. One from each team, so 12 teams all represented in the 3-on-3 on the intermission.
That's awesome. I think that's pretty cool that they're doing that this year. As Durazio feeling some pressure, 30 seconds to go, spins off one, now pulls back to give himself some time and space. He goes to the far side. Quick pass now to Hayes. The Marlies have left their mark so far in this first period, producing both goals, and they've had 77 players since the incarnation of this prospect game partake. Leading the way in the GTHL, second place in that category would be the Toronto Junior Canadians at 48, followed by the Rebels with 42. And I just wish we had at times a half hour to almost do a podcast as you hear the buzzer and the period ends, so we can talk about all the players we've seen over the years, because it's truly remarkable. I mean, not all of them are in the NHL, Pete, but we're seeing them do what they have done at all sorts of different levels as we'll get ready for the 3-on-3 that we just mentioned. So to go over that scoring, 1 minute and 28 seconds into the first, Team Clark, Weaver, and Corson in the dark jerseys, they open it up. It was Dylan Robinson. And here's a look at the opening goal. Not really anything there Marco Constantini could do. And then back-to-back goals for the Marlies. Cameron Peters at the 10:07 mark. Here's a look at that one. Halliday sent it in down low. And this was about moments before he got absolutely robbed.
Oh, he
by
found
Lennox.
Inches of space to get over the goaltender's shoulder, and he made it easy going upstairs, but great save by Lennox before that.
And then the go-ahead goal, it was a 5-on-3 for the team in the white jerseys, and just a simple shot on net, initial save made, and Piercy for the Marlies makes it 2-1.
Oh, I love the fact the defenseman puts it on net. I'm always yelling at the TV when it's a 5-on-3. Shoot it on net. Rebounds and exactly what they needed to do there. And when you look at the team in white, which we'll call the Graves, Primo, Tucker, these long names, Bill, you got to squeeze them in. They started slow, but they got a little bit of confidence there, and they got the speed game going for themselves.
And going back to your point quickly there, Pete, about the 5-on-3, I think one of the biggest things people don't realize is when that shot gets through, the defensemen on the 5-on-3, they have to turn around. They're now facing their goaltender, and they have no idea perhaps where the forwards for the opposing team are, and that really just opens up the floodgates for scoring opportunities. As we see now coming out onto the ice all the participants, as Pete mentioned, one from every single team out here for this 3-on-3.
The Flyers coaching staff with Mark Slauson, Dave Cicchini, Marshall Bacon, Jamie Edwards, and Mike Crispanis. They're having a great year at Bantam. They're coaching one side, and on the other side, the Toronto Marlies side, Paul Coffey, Steve Dennis, and Dino Rocco. So 3-on-3, everyone's represented. It's going to be fun. They're giving them a little bit of a warm-up here. Looks like the Indy 500. Let the tires get warm to go for a big spin. And yeah, we're going to go up and down the ice for 10 minutes.
All right, before we do that, a quick break, and then the 3-on-3 will be coming up next. All right, welcome back to the Scotiabank Pod. Hey, here at the GTHL Prospects game, an intermission doesn't mean we stop playing hockey, apparently, as the Bantams are going 3-on-3. Johnson with a shot, and he scores. Now, there's our first goal here as we are underway. Pete mentioned...
Clear the zone, street hockey style, right?
Yeah.
Get on the other side of the road. Here we go, keep it going. And they'll be doing some short 1-minute shifts. Now they got to all get to the bench, Bill, before the other three guys can come on. So we'll know they're fudging a little too. Right now you can see the team in white saying, so really all three need to get to the bench before the other three replacements come out.
This is pretty neat here. Govideris gets it to Yearwood. Yearwood with speed, peels past his man. Campanelli's after him. Yearwood takes it wide. And he still has it. Tries to get a little bit of a cycle going. And now it's the team in the white jerseys with a chance coming back the other way. Here's Frasca. Oh, Frasca almost danced right in past everybody. Now a chance coming back the other way. Yearwood, he's got a teammate with him. Govideris, in. Scores! Nice shot there, top corner. I got a feel for the goalies here in this 3-on-3.
It's like the NHL, right? I mean, you got to be ready. And Wolfgang Govideris with that great play over the shoulder. And it's good strategy there. They realize the 1-minute mark is coming, so they dump it all the way away from their net. And now you race out there to make sure. Like, I remember doing this in summer hockey, think this is going to be fun. And then you get a half hour in, and you're just burning. Your lungs are tired, and you're thinking, why did I sign up for this?
Oh, great chance here. As that was Luca Del Bel Baluz. When I saw that on the roster sheet, I said, that's got to be our winner of a name of the night.
There are some phonetics in this game here. I mean, you got off easy with the Prospects game, but I looked at that, Bill, and I said, oh, boy, you got Pechevnosky, Robert Andriakos, who should be able to handle the Flyers goalie, but there's some goodies here.
And speaking of Del Bel Baluz with a chance. Now for the Marlies, Johnson chips it forward. Look out, here comes another breakaway. It's already 2-0 for the dark jerseys. Big save there. Andriakos for the Flyers.
And that Don Mills Flyers Bantam, I mean, stacked. They've played in provincial champions as Pee-wees, having a great season. I mean, Bantam, and they come out to these games. It's amazing to see how that Bantam minor midget age group trains together, works out together. They know each other very well.
And Pete, I always thought in the years past where we had covered the GTHL as the team white there having to get back on side. You know, obviously the primary of our focus a lot of the time are the minor midgets and the AAAs. Is here's a chance, Govideris. That shot gets blocked with Barkley trailing. It's our OHL draft here, and we put a lot of attention on that, but I also loved how we got out. Sometimes we saw the Bantam AAAs or the Pee-wee AAs, or we went all over the map when it came to the GTHL. And I have to say, whereas sometimes the minor midget guys are a little cool to hang around guys like us, the Pee-wee guys or the
I know what you're
Adam
saying,
guys,
absolutely.
It was the biggest moment of their young hockey careers, and it was always fun to be around their enthusiasm at the rink when they saw us, and they would tell us little tidbits about their lives and their hockey careers. It was a lot of fun.
I mean, the minor midgets would get 4 or 5 games a season, and then all of a sudden you do a Pee-wee A game, and they're like, wow, the cameras are on, and the coaches would tell you it's a tough game to coach when those younger players are enjoying a little bit of the spotlight, and they deserve it as well. They're out there working hard, and certainly the minor midgets are a big deal, and I mean, this Prospects game is taking place, but you know what? In a week from now, we'll be having an IP festival, and that's 6-year-olds playing on cross ice, so we run the gamut here from getting involved in the game all the way up into the minor midget age group.
Here's a chance now. as the team in the dark jerseys. They've got the 3-goal lead. It's Johnston. Tries to send it in. And we will have a change and a goaltending change for the Flyers as well. As the aforementioned Ezhinovsky.
All right, it's all you when it comes to pronunciations. I gave it a shot. You gave it a shot.
Right.
But I'll tell you this, by the time we get to the Prospects game next year, everyone will know his name if he's having a good season.
You got that right.
Coach Mark Slauson from the Flyers saying, you know what, I wanted both of my goalies to take part. There was originally 1 goalie and 6 skaters, but that's cool. Both goalies get a chance to take in the game tonight and be in the spotlight.
There they come back the other way. Barkley takes it wide. His side with the 3-0 lead. We're past the halfway mark. In fact, we're almost about 6 minutes into this 10-minute 3-on-3 game. Barkley, man in front. Govideris scores. It's a nice feed there. I mean, 3-on-3 down low. That was just good work. Good work ethic in the offensive
They worked hard.
zone.
Absolutely
Yeah.
good finish, but it was the work ethic before that. And the team in white, you know what? They're going to come out a little bit quicker than they could have. Pinelli trying to get at least a couple shots on goal here to test the goaltender.
This one's pushed forward. Almost a breakaway going back the other way. That would have been for the Rangers' Patrick Saney. Johnston waiting, and that's going to be an offside. And you know what? I was joking earlier because the minor midgets, when we were around them, Pete, always from that young age, great coming up to us during the game. If we ever had to go over anything like a last name pronunciation or have some fun, ask them what they're into outside of the rink or some of their activities. And I mean, now watching them and seeing some of these guys at the NHL level and having in previous years, you know, seen them when they're just humble players before the millions of Twitter followers and before the big bucks or anything like that.
They're still the same guys, though, right?
They
I mean,
always are.
You've covered the OJ, the OHL, the American Hockey League. I've done the same. We run into the players, and they're still the same guys. Hey, Peter. Hey, Bill. And you kind of have a chuckle that it's the same sport, same people. We just happen to be in a bigger rink.
Yep. That's the one cool thing is that they're humble at this age, and they're still humble.
It's a hockey player thing.
Name. I love it.
I guess it's a Canadian hockey player thing we like to think of.
Oh, there's a nice finish there.
With the backhander over the top of the goaltender.
Hey, Frasca gets the white team on the board. Govideris. This line with him and Yearwood and Barkley, they've been dangerous every time they're out there. But they're doing it the old school style. Just some dirty work along the boards, some cycles, and there's another goal.
Big stick. I mean, that stick is taller than some of the players in Bantam AAA. So
I might be taller than me. You've taken it easy on me so far. I don't know if it's because we haven't.
You've convinced me with Johnny Gaudreau and Marner that's not the size anymore. It's the heart and the skill. So. And it's interesting that we got the Flyers coaching staff there because, I mean, we watched Marner pretty well dominate an entire playoff run. And really, he was the one guy on his team on his own. And watching the Leafs actually draft a Toronto guy, Bill.
Oh, what a save. And there's Johnson puts it home. You know, the crazy thing about that series is literally it was Marner. And we know the way the points work in the GTHL playoffs, 2 for a win and a games can end in a tie. So it's first to 8 points. I'll never forget. Mitch Marner scored as we're going to have a penalty shot. Mitch Marner scored a goal, Pete, with less than a minute to go in Game 7. That would ultimately force a Game 8 between the Red Wings and the Flyers back in the first round. I guess that would be 6 years ago. And Marner, I'll never forget, he did the Ovechkin, bouncing off the glass when he scored as he gave his team a chance. Pinelli there on the breakaway goes up and over the net as we've got less than a minute to go. And I mentioned off the top, too, some of the great moments and memories, not just in the Prospects game, but covering the GTHL over the years. How about a Game 8 GTHL final between two unbelievable teams in the Marlies and Flyers? Game 8 goes to 0-0 overtime. And Elijah Roberts, now with the Kitchener Rangers, goes end-to-end and scores a beautiful goal to win the championship. That's one of the best moments that I can still remember.
And we've got it recorded forever, right? And just this game will be part of the ones we look back at as Wolfgang Govideris is going to try and make it 7-1. He goes backhander, and the goaltender's able to force him outside. But it's great that we had a few of the Bantam players come up, soak up the atmosphere, give the fans something to do. They say they're going to be real quick with the Zamboni tonight here at Scotiabank Pond. I spoke to Ross. He says we're going to be so quick, these intermissions are going to fly by tonight.
And there was one late chance for Capinelli. The dark-colored jerseys, they take it by a score of 6-1, but a great showcase here by the Bantam AAAs, and we have no doubt we will see them in the 2018 Minor Midget AAA Prospect game. We're going to take a break, though, and we're going to drop the puck on the second period in just a few moments. Don't you go anywhere. All right, welcome back to the Scotiabank Pond, the 9th edition of the GTHL Top Prospects game. It's powered by Under Armour, and it's a 2-1 lead for Team Graves, Primo and Tucker, Peters and Piercy with the goals. Robinson gets the lone goal for the dark jerseys for Team Clark, Weaver, and Corson. That's where we're at as we're just getting ready here to drop the puck on the second period. We talked a little bit. It was hard to talk about much because of the speed these guys play on. We didn't have a lot of whistles about the alumni out of this event. We know the draft into the NHL is only going up. We've had 59 since the GTHL Prospects game has started. 25 plus have played in the AHL. And then, Pete, when you're looking at Major Junior and Junior A, big time participation as well.
Well, I go back to the first ever Prospects game. So it's the 09-10 season. You got Monahan. So where is he in the NHL?
It's pretty good.
Third in goals, something like that. You got Tom Wilson, who thankfully they're letting him play an offensive game now.
And he's succeeding.
And he's succeeding. It's not just forecheck and fight. And then I still throw in Scott Lawton, who just happened to have a fight with Tom Wilson in that first game. Lawton is getting more playing time in Philadelphia. So 3 players there from the first game that I've been following saying, man, that first game, and there they are, and they're still young guys.
And then, I mean, you look at it over the years. We've talked about McDavid. We've talked about Marner. How about Max Domi, the McLeod brothers, Quinn Hughes, and his brother Jack. We've got Jacob Chikrin, Travis Barron, all of the Stromes, the entire family. I mean, the alumni, it's incredible. And really, we've seen a lot of them succeed at Major Junior, going to the OHL. We've seen a ton of them, too, participate in the OHL, or excuse me, in the Memorial Cup.
Oh, where do you want to go? You want to go to the World Junior Camp? We got your Taylor Radishes and your Jordan Kairos.
Yes, sir.
Leading the OHL in scoring. 7 points clear, everyone. He might still have the lead by the time he gets back from the camp after missing a month. You go to the American Hockey League. You got Phil Baroni, Andrew Maggiapani. We struggled with that name until he sorted it out by standing out. I mean, wherever you go, you see a lot of players who played in the GTHL, and they're all different stories, Bill. It's not just you do it this way and that's the only way. Different ways to get to where you want to go.
And you know what? We've seen lots of success as play is underway here in this second period. And a power play with 15 seconds remaining for Team Graves, Primo, and Tucker as Percivali comes in. Sneaks past Power. I was about to say, and we'll touch on this more during a whistle, Pete, we've seen great success from players who didn't play in the GTHL Prospects games. Here is Hayes. Now with the shot on net, that's easily sticked aside by Lennox. One thing I've noticed too, everything with Lennox, he leads with his stick and deflects those shots into the corner as best as he can. His rebound control is pretty impressive, as well as Hayes takes a run at Uberti. And Arrow tries to clear that one on his backhand. Uberti back in down low. Here's Cohen. Cohen centers it. Pappas was there, but it was just out of his reach as Dillingham Morelli brings it back. Chayka with a good cross-ice pass and some life here to start the period for the dark-colored jerseys and Team Clark Weaver Corson. This one's pushed forward with some speed. Oh, a couple of moves there by Moore, and then eventually Graham intercepts that. Graham playing in front of his proud Aunt Sandy, who's in the building. She was my old neighbor, so I had to give her a shout-out on the air.
So she was the one who didn't call the cops and said, you know what, I'll give this guy a break the first 10 times, right? When you guys were playing a little bit of PS4 at 3 a.m.
We'll see, it all works out now. She's getting some love on the GTHL Top Prospects game.
It's interesting when you talked about all the goalies we see tonight, and we failed to mention Jack LaFontaine, Jeremy Helvig, some goalies that just didn't get a chance to maybe get the big highlights now, and they're excelling at the next level.
And there was a nice save talking about excelling in the goaltending position there by Lennox. I also think of Alexei Gravel, who had a very good showing. In fact, he was one of the MVPs in his year.
And it's interesting, Bill, because we know that Canadian Hockey League, working with the Junior League, said, well, we're not going to let the junior teams have anyone outside North American. So they are trying to build up that goalie pool once again, and you're starting to see it getting better, more playing time, and talking about development as opposed to just trying to win.
Here's Cooley to Alexander. Oh, what a quick snapshot that was. He put a lot behind it, and it just went up and over Lennox, who was down a little early that time. That shot was blocked by D. Simone as Drysdale goes cross ice, and they're right back in.
Drysdale wants to go for a skate here, and the coach are calling him off. He wanted to be first on the forecheck. You make the first pass at the back end, and then you're the first guy in on the forecheck. What else do you want from me, coach?
We saw a lot of that in Jacob Chikrin's here. I'll never forget at one point, I'll try to go through this as quick as possible. He was in the offensive zone at the face-off circle. A player got the puck at the red line for a breakaway, and Chikrin caught up to him by the time he hit the blue line. I was making the call, oh, a breakaway, where did Chikrin come from? He was an animal in his minor midget year, and now that he's healthy again, he's getting some regular playing time with the Arizona Coyotes.
Oh, absolutely. Even a great forecheck there by Aiden Hughes. Get in there, just cut the player off. The defenseman's not ready. And a lot of the defensemen now, Bill, are being evaluated on how they can avoid the forecheck. Are they skating it out? That's a big deal. I mean, you look at analytics, zone entries, and getting out of the zone. I mean, defensemen now are under a lot of pressure to be clean and make it a pass instead of just dumping it in the air and hoping somebody can pick it up in the neutral zone.
I know I mentioned him earlier, but Ryan Merkley was a one-man breakout. If his team was under duress and there weren't pass options.
And he played in the prospect game twice.
Yes.
Underager and then in his minor midget year.
Here's a pass across, shot, that one gets blocked. Jackson who has it. With the Red Wings helmet, skating through the middle. And the Red Wings have had some pretty solid players coming out of their system. Barrett Hayton, one of the more recent ones I can think of, but I think the big one is Owen Tippett, playing for the Mississauga Steelheads. I mean, Pete, in all our years, there's a great chance and a nice stop by Lennox. In all our years, there were two players who I remember, and I go, these guys are shooting already like they're Steven Stamkos. And one was Tippett, and the other one was Adam Mascarin, who played for the Vaughan Kings, and now he's on the Kitchener Rangers. Both guys actually drafted by the Florida Panthers, oddly enough.
And Mascarin is fourth in the OHL in goals, but you know what? I tweeted it right away. I don't have a big following, so a lot of people might not know, but I said, Owen Tippett needs to be at the World Junior Camp. And there's a quick shot by Piercy to show you a little bit of love as there's a breakdown in the Team Clark zone. The team in black not getting the puck out. And I like the fact, Bill, Piercy takes his time, elevates the puck over the goalie's shoulder.
Nice shot.
And that is now 2 goals and an assist.
And you'll see in the replay, too, I mean, he makes no mistake ripping that one top corner. No chance for Lennox. And I mean, he's been in some tough situations here tonight, and he's made some huge saves, but not much you can do on that one. Like you said, a bit of a breakdown leads to that one. Second of
Scored
the
by
game.
number 15, Riley Piercy.
Doug Ireland making the call.
Assisted by number 8, Cameron Peters. And by number
Piercy
12, Stephen Holiday.
Peters and Holiday. So we can call that a Toronto Marlies trifecta, as all three of them get a touch, get a point, and give the white-colored jerseys a 3-1 lead.
Well, Tristan Lennox has been very busy in net for the team in black, and Constantini hasn't been tested, but he's made a few saves here, and that's really all that he can do, right? I mean, if they give up 20 shots, he'll take on 20 shots, but right now he's not being tested. He still has a job to do, to stay in the game, knowing that he's going to probably come out halfway through the second period here.
This one pushed forward. Halliday looking to get it out. And almost a potential 2-on-1. A little bit of a fortunate break there for Biacconi as he's got a chance to get back. But look at that, flushing him right out. No chance to really settle down and try to set up a breakout, as very aggressive here from Team Graves, Primo, and Tucker. And by the way, just to finish your thought from earlier, I too was wondering, how did Owen Tippett not even get an invite?
They say he's just one-dimensional, but I mean, can't you coach him into a different kind of role? I mean,
But that dimension is
Mike
pretty
Babcock
good.
took everybody to Sochi, and he said, hey, everyone's going to have a role here. You're going to have to do a little bit more. And you and I have seen that NHL shot from when he was in the O. I mean, he started the season in the NHL, but we're hoping Hockey Canada got it right. I mean, we've only got one gold in, last 6 years? Let's get another 5-year streak going here.
Absolutely, I'm with you on that.
So you still look, though, there's enough GTHL content at the camp, though, right? I mean, we talked about Michael McLeod, his Steelheads teammate. We talked about Jordan Kyrou, Victor Mete, Taylor Radish. And you've got one player who did not play in the Prospects game in 13-14.
And that's one of the guys I wanted to talk about at one point who, whatever gets you all the way to the top, not necessarily you're not picked for a prospect game or you miss out on a certain camp. That doesn't mean that your hockey future is over.
Well, you're going to say who it is? I mean, you're a big fan of his. I mean, at the end of the day, he's the only player at the World Junior Camp that didn't play in the GTHL Top Prospects game from all the grads that have been invited. And Alex Formanton,
yep.
He was a Mississauga Rebel. He had a decent minor midget season, and from there, he just skyrocketed.
Here's Graham. Now drops it for D. Simone. Nice pad save there by Constantini. Alex Formanton, who I can also mention is just an awesome dude. He was with the Aurora Tigers as a 16-year-old after his minor midget season and put up pretty good numbers. And everybody always said, just wait on this guy. May not be putting up huge numbers in junior, but the way this guy skates, the way he can shoot the puck, and the way he engages in all three zones, he's going to be a special player. And the Ottawa Senators recognized that in the second round. And again, a great story because a kid who wasn't here is now all the way there.
He's at the World Junior Camp with a bunch of players that would have played in Prospects game, All-Star games.
Here's a chance now for the other side as Team Clark looking to get one back on the board. Just too many white jerseys in the way there, and ultimately Marco Constantini finds it. And that's what I always find cool, though, to finish that thought, is everybody gets there in their own way. And there's so many interesting little stories and tidbits, and I couldn't be happier for Alex Formanton, getting to know him over the years. Just a great individual, and happy to see him succeeding, not just with the London Knights, but we know it'll be inevitable rather, that he's making a mark with the Ottawa Senators.
Constantini, Bill, making a mark now. We talked that he wasn't busy. Now he gets a little busy, and I don't know what the nicknames are, and I don't know if anyone wants to be the cat, because maybe the cat's not the scariest creature in the world, but certainly with his mobility and his athletic ability, I think that might fit.
Here's Bulovs. More on him. I tell you, every time these Marlies are out for Team Graves, they're dangerous and threatening, and it's made it hard for Team Clark to sustain a lot of offensive pressure and go shift after shift because they're dealing with such a dangerous line coming back the other way. As we've got 12:44 to go in this second period, a 3-1 lead for Team Graves. Primo and Tucker, they scored 2 in the first, 1 here in the second. And not only have we seen a lot of our alumni playing in the OHL, but also at the Junior A level in the OJHL. I believe one of our linesmen there might have gotten clipped in the face.
Justin B. Noble looks like he's all right. He's telling the other guys in the crew, don't worry about the whistle, but certainly the perils of dropping the puck there. I don't know if he leaned over or if he just got a high stick. Either way, he's still out there.
Oh, nice try there from Foodie to thread the needle. Just missed both of his line mates that were going hard to the net. Now look at Power there, using that reach to get past any individual that's trying to poke check him. Pass back to the point. Biacconi, his shot deflects and just goes up and over the net. Cooley for the Marlies here at the blue line, puts on the brakes, back pedals, and now a nice little reverse off the boards, gets the attack going the other way. 12 to go here in the second period. Vlad gets that stripped off his stick. Biacconi's one of these guys, as there's a good poke check, who right now might not have put up any points or a lot of offensive chances, but he's been in the right place with and without the puck on many moments.
You have to show off the intelligence to go with the skill, right? I mean, don't take yourself out of position to throw a big hit. Play that positional game. As Tulio's just hanging around for the rebound. He's not even letting Lennox do his little, I think it's the Curtis Joseph, eh? You make the save and he would go from one end of the boards to the next. You see our camera folks are doing a great job capturing that. He just wants to go for a skate after every save, reset mentally. There it is, off the post, off the post, off the post, and get in the mode. Kind of like a basketball player taking a free throw. He's got his cadence that he wants to work on before every face-off.
I like that, though. It's a little bit throwback, like you said, with some of the old school goalies doing that. And here is Tulio, enters the zone, tries it short side, and that one stopped. I wanted to go back, and speaking of, we talked about the OHL guys, some of the Junior A guys. Well, how about the Jackson twins, who used to be with the Mississauga Rebels? They've got a scholarship to Northeastern. We mentioned some guys taking the college route. Jack McBain, who is right now expected to potentially be drafted in the first round of the NHL draft. He's out there, and a couple of players, and again, this goes back to whatever gets you there. It's a different story for everybody. On the Newmarket Hurricanes, and I am affiliated with them, so it's a bit of a proud moment, but Alex Iarulo, who in his minor midget year, Pete, was playing Double-A with the Toronto Royals, and he just won the Player of the Month for the league, putting up 24 points in 11 games.
Well, I asked you, who is this guy? He says he played GTHL and he's the Player of the Month, and you're like, well, you know what? He was playing Double-A at minor midget and didn't give up. So we talk about it all the time. I mean, if it's Alex Formanton who didn't get the opportunity to be in a GTHL prospect game, and you know what? You look at these rosters and people think that I or people in the office put together the teams. Picks 1 to like 30, I think everyone can do. Then when you get to 31 to 40, there's always a guy you could take out, put him in. And if you don't get in at the All-Star game, the prospect game at any level, you can still get there the following year, right? It's not the end of the career. And those are the good stories, the guys that we kind of say, okay, he didn't get the spotlight, but he certainly found it a little later in his career.
It's a lot of fun, too. I mean, this event, one of the big premier moments on the GTHL calendar. And then everything seems to just get amped up. You've got the playoffs not far from here, and the OHL Cup, which, I mean, every year, and I'm happy to see this, as here's Drysdale. Oh, my goodness, what a chance. It goes off the post. That initial pass, though, by Drysdale.
And there's Drysdale keeping the puck in. You can see why he's top 3, top 5, top 10, whatever the top list is for the OHL draft, Drysdale is on it.
That's some serious skill. I was going to say the OHL Cup and now the popularity that and the recognition it's gaining, I think is fantastic because they deserve it. We've been following the OHL Cup for so many years. We go, this is crazy, some of the talent that's involved in the OHL Cup, and even you get players from different leagues like Travis Konechny's and Taylor Halls who might not be in the GTHL. You get to see them take on the top talent of this league. It's a lot of fun, so glad to see it's picking up some steam with not just the scouts and friends and family of all these players, but just hockey fans as well. There's a short side chance for number 8,
Cameron Peters. Very shifty, even showed you changing the footwork just to get a better shooting angle. And as you can tell, both teams going to put the goalies in now, the backups, who aren't really backups. And they'll give them a stretch at least.
Chase Clark. There you see him for the Toronto Young Nationals. He represents Team Clark Weaver Corson. And at the other end, Joseph Verbetic for the Don Mills Flyers. He is in there for Team Graves, Primo, and Tucker. And the Flyers not far off from what we mentioned the reps have for goals against of 1.8. The Flyers are at 1.9. So it's pretty impressive to see 4 of the top teams. As here's a chance coming back the other way. Constantini, the brother, the defenseman, looking to get on the score sheet. I was going to say the top 4 teams in this loop all average less than 2 goals against per game, as that one almost took a fortuitous bounce for the dark jerseys. They're looking for one of those because, like I said, for every good shift they seem to have in the offensive zone, Team Graves comes back maybe with a couple in a row, and it's just been hard for them to really get that flow going offensively, and we know how many weapons that they do have on this team.
And it was balanced out, right? You had the Marlies in first with the Kings in third, so they're trying to come up with a competitive game and balance everything out. And this is the first year in a long time we haven't had one player kind of stuck on the other team playing his teammates. It would always be an unbalance because they wouldn't hold it against the player saying, well, if we pick 11 guys, that means one can't play with his teammates. So sometimes you had guys playing against their team from the regular season. You could tell there was those, I don't want to hurt him, but I also don't want to lose to him moments in the game. As the Marlies have kind of teamed up here with the Kings and the Flyers. The other side is the Reps, the Rebels, and the Senators taking on a lot of the spots.
Now here's Piercy. And this Marlies line, with their size, their skating ability, and how hard they forecheck. Here's another chance. There's a stop by Clark, and he was looking behind him. Just as the Marlies put up another scoring chance, this line, Pete, their hard work and their aggressiveness makes it almost impossible. See how many times they force the opposition into making an errant pass or a careless turnover that we might not normally see.
Well, Chase Clark, the Toronto Young Nationals, one player gets selected. They're in 12th in a 12-team league. So that tells you how good a goaltender he is. Just trying to keep everybody in the game, coming in cold and making some big saves.
It's been impressive what the Toronto Marlies players have been able to do so far in this game. That's why they've got that sparkling 22-1-1 record through the course of the regular season. 45 points, 4.9 goals per game, 1.3 goals against. Those are those video game numbers Pete was talking about as Team Graves is threatening for more. Bulovs now exits the zone himself. Hits center ice. Little chip and chase, perhaps some hard work to get his side going.
You look at what Layden Moore, the defenseman, gets in there, beats
play.
Bulovs in now, spins around. This is what we talked about. Evade the forecheck. Get out of the zone cleanly. Don't just dump it out. He's skating it out.
Has it.
Now he wants the other zone too. Hey, you get a little greedy. Why not? It's the Prospects game. And now he's holding things up. The one thing I've really noticed tonight about some of these Marlies players that we've talked about being very skilled offensively is they're also winning battles on the boards.
Yes.
So you need that, especially when the competition gets tougher. You look what the Marlies have. They've lost 2 games this year. One in the regular season of the Flyers and one in the round of 16 at the Wendy Dufton tournament in London. So 2 losses. I mean, what does Coach Richard Power do after those losses? I mean, he doesn't talk about it because, I mean, they're rare. And they're 1-goal games, too. So, if anything, he wants to make sure they stay sharp in the second half of the season.
Just when you have success like that, I guess the only thing you can think is you don't want to ever take your foot off the gas pedal or come in and start taking the opposition lightly.
Well, last year was the Reps in first and the Marlies in second. So, he's keeping them hungry. They want that first-place title.
Here comes Alexander into the zone. Team Graves is just flying through the neutral zone and entering the offensive zone with speed as Drysdale there tries to step up. Now perhaps a chance here for Team Clark. Robinson has it, hangs on, shoots. There's a big save. The rebound, there was a little bit of room there on the 5-hole. But Verbetic shuts the door, and that's one of the best scoring opportunities we've seen this period for Clark, Weaver, and Corson's side.
Well, I like what Dylan Robinson was doing there, man. We've heard the Robinson name in many Prospects games. Brandon was one of the first ones. Plays with a little bit of edge, but he's got that offensive talent. You see, he gets around the defender, has enough time to put it on the backhand with a little bit of speed. This is where you figure Uberti and Cohen, they've had a good game, but they want to get something going here, get back into it.
As here comes Vlad. Vlad with speed. Ooh, gets taken down, but take a hit to make a play. Alexander with a great chance. Even better stop by Clark. Here's a chance there. Cooley didn't miss by much. I mean, you kind of get knocked down by 2 defenders, but in essence, you take both of them out of the play. And that gave Alexander a huge chance. Big save. You called it, though. Chase Clark, you come into the game cold and your team's down by 2. You could be down by even more, but he's been making the big saves.
He's certainly showing off that skill to come in. And he knew he's coming in at that mark. But still, you're coming in cold.
Ooh, that's a big hit there. William Cooley flattens his man as Haynes tries to come in with the D because we're seeing a few big hits being tossed around as this one has 5:50 to go in the second period. Still a 3-1 lead.
Well, the big hits, Uberti takes the hit. You know what? Uberti's one of the guys that's like a physical specimen at this age group. He throws big hits as well. He takes it, says, no problem, you got me that shift, it's clean, goes to the bench, and that's the kind of discipline that you want to see from some of the better players in the league.
Here's Biacconi for the Junior Canadians. Easily blocked it aside, was going wide either way, but just dumped into the corner nicely there by Verbetic. Owen Powers steps up. Power and Biacconi. That pass is intercepted. Portocalis dumps it in. There's the big power. With 2 forecheckers on him, he can still win the battles with that reach that he has. Coming back now, D. Simone. His shot goes wide. Cairns, cross ice. There was an opportunity, but we're seeing better chances now for Team Clark.
Oh, D. Simone finally gets to show his speed game. One of the fastest skaters in the loop. Had some open ice, took advantage of it.
Coming back here is Perfetti. Perfetti slows up, waits for support. Sends it in down low. Tullio. In front now, Tullio has it. His shot stopped by Clark, and you can see it drop down and into his feet. Unfortunately for him, he didn't move and kick it into the back of his own net, but there is another nice save.
Well, Tullio and Perfetti from the Vaughan Kings come out on the line together. We know Perfetti's the puck possession guy. Tullio, he's always in that great position, a little shiftiness to his game, and you can see the 2 Vaughan Kings try to create a little bit of offense together.
Now here's Peters. This is that big line that has been dangerous every single time they are out on the ice. 3 Marlies, 3 big fellas who are all offensively talented. You can see positionally, even without the puck, so smart out there, and they forced Team Clark into making several mistakes.
I want to say like Mackenzie Entwistle, another Toronto
Yeah.
Marley who's
Yep.
big, tall, a real pain in the you-know-what on the forecheck.
Yes.
And all of a sudden you look at these pretty boy Marlies with all their scoring stats, and all 3 guys are big, they're forechecking, they're throwing hits, and then all of a sudden they've produced all 3 goals for their team tonight.
That's a great call on the end whistle there, if I'm not
I
mistaken.
picture it. Number 5 in blue for the Marlies, they all look like him.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Pete, but was that the year Entwistle was with Matt Strome? Was it Akil Thomas as well? I know it was at least Matt Strome, and they went to the OHL Cup final. And I believe that was the one that they had lost to York Simcoe Express, that powerhouse team that the YSC had. The first one at Mattamy.
That may have been the one. That may have been the one. But I tell you, you look at a box score, great. You see the goal scoring, shots on goal. Until you actually scout and see the games in person,
Yeah.
you just wouldn't pick everything up. You know, you can't just watch the play on TV. You got to look behind the play as well.
Here's Peters with speed. That goes off the blocker of Clark. One of the crazier games we had when it came to scoring, I'll never forget it. I believe it was a 5-5 final. It ended up going into a shootout. Now that game was a shootout the whole way though, and right at the end with about a minute to go, I remember Joseph Nizzi scoring for the Toronto Marlies, but it was Jacob Chikrin who won it in the shootout, fanning on his attempt. He was going for a quick
Absolutely,
backhand to
remember
forehand
that.
move, and it just went through the 5-hole of the goalie as he fanned on it. Been a lot of great memories over the years, that's for sure. There's a hit thrown by Hayes. Robinson takes a whack at that. Here's Foodie. Foodie trying to separate himself with that great foot speed. Chips it forward. Robinson almost intercepts that pass. But now Percivali coming back the other way. His shot is blocked by Haynes. Drysdale comes to kick it, and now potentially a 2-on-1 break. Young looking for the pass across. Robinson, way too many white jerseys, hustling hard there. It almost made that pass impossible to get through. One of them being Drysdale, who said, I made a little mistake getting caught, so I'm going to have to make up for it. And when you can skate like that, sometimes you can take a few liberties offensively.
And certainly at 3-1, maybe in a regular season game, you're more defensive mode. Here at the Prospects game, Drysdale saying, well, let's create a little bit more here. This period has certainly been physical. The first period, very fast, a lot of offensive opportunities. This game, guys have said, you know what, I'm not going to let you dance around. I'm going to go and put a body on you and just kind of slow you down a bit. As you can see, Young working hard to get around his man, part of the Mississauga reps contingent that did all right in this game as well, Bill. I mean, you look at the fact there's 8 of them. So last year's first place team, they're a long way off from catching the Marlies this year, so they're going to be fighting for that second place position. Not being able to be the first place champions in the regular season is kind of a big deal, but then you got to leave it and get it back going in the playoffs.
You know, the disappointment of not winning in the regular season, you can forget about that if you go all the way and win the championship.
Oh, absolutely.
Here's Vlad. The lad with speed, short side, centering pass. Oh, what a chance there as Clark was a little out of position making the initial save. Now Pappas goes blue line to blue line. Drop pass. It goes across through the skates. Backhand attempt. Oh, it bounces through the crease, but stays out. Nobody there for Team Clark to put it away. Now a 3-on-1 back the other side. Oh, Vlad had a chance to put that one home, but it just missed the puck.
That's Owen Power still skating like a forward
Power
out there.
to Cohen. Cohen stop. Great end-to-end action here. Oh boy, you talked about how it's kind of been physical and not as fast as the first period. I don't know if you said that a little too loud and the players heard you, because they just put on a little bit of a showcase of what the skill that they possess over the last couple of minutes that you'll see in some of the highlights.
Well, Power's getting involved in the game. I mean, you look at a guy like Chaika as well for the Junior Canadians. They're going to get active. Here comes Chaika, number 5. Oh, he changed his mind. But I like the fact, Elias Cohen, he's one of the guys that looks to create a pass. He got a great pass by Power and just wasn't able to beat the goaltender.
Great opportunities at both ends. That was some fun stuff. But the score remains the same. The goaltenders were busy there, and they were solid. Here's a quick pass. That's Perfetti. Portakis. Oh, great play. Tulio. Oh, he was looking for the beautiful finish.
Play of the week. He wanted instead of just shooting.
Yeah, he probably could have just shot there, but if that got through, that would have been outstanding stuff. And again, probably that's one of those things we're seeing more in a prospect game, because we know how hard he can shoot the puck when he's in those opportunities. Now here's Moore. 1 minute to go now in the second period. Moore. It's a pass across. Boy, Moore is crafty out there. Talk about how big a lot of these Marlies are. He might not have that size, but boy, he can get around. As there is an unbelievable save once again by Clark. You got to be kidding me. This guy has kept the score at 3 against for his side. As this is sent down the ice, can you believe it? A stoppage in play?
40 seconds to go in the second period. We haven't had scoring, but in this second half of the period, we've had as many chances as we did in the first part, right? I mean, wow, the first half of the game, wide open, and then all of a sudden it kind of gets physical, and then they turn it up again.
And you called it, Pete, before we even got going here, as Constantini has it off the draw. Clark might be on a last place team, but that doesn't mean people aren't recognizing what he's doing night in and night out. As entering the zone, just offside, but the right call was made with 27 seconds to go. My goodness, though, a few of these saves by Clark, as Piercy is
finding another spot on the game sheet, right? Goal, assists. Let's do a penalty as well. He's getting a hooking penalty behind the play.
And I got to give Doug Ireland some credit, though, on being quick on the trigger finger for the music, playing Bad Boys.
He's got it.
These guys have no idea what Cops is or what the theme song is. I can tell you that much. So perhaps a late goal, or if not, the power play will carry over into the start of the third, as Team Clark, they can get one goal here and really be just one shot away from being back in this game. But that one's turned over and fired down the ice. Trying to skate out of his own end is Haynes, but the buzzer will slow him down before he gets to the offensive blue line. So just the lone goal in the second period. Riley Piercy, 3:40 into the frame. It's been 3 Marlies goals, and Team Graves, Primo, and Tucker, they've got the 3-1 lead. Time for us to take a break, and we'll be back here as the 9th annual GTHL Prospects game, powered by Under Armour, continues. Third period is next. Hello again, coming at you from the Scotiabank Pond. Bill Giannopoulos, Peter Curtis. So happy to be back and calling some GTHL hockey on air for you. 6th time out of 9 that we've called the GTHL Prospects game, and it's been a good one, a fast-paced one so far. The team in the white jerseys, Graves, Primo, and Tucker, behind goals from Peters and 2 from Piercy, have a 3-1 lead. Dylan Robinson from the Junior Canadians, the lone goal for Team Clark, Weaver, and Corson. And that was 1 minute and 28 seconds into the start of this game, Pete. And we've talked a lot about the alumni, but some of the players that are here today, we're looking at some very highly ranked guys according to some of the scouts out there online. And I expect, in fact, I almost want to say I can guarantee we're going to see some long and successful careers playing hockey for a lot of these players.
Well, we definitely got a shout out to Quinton Byfield, York Simcoe Express. Everyone's got him number one.
He's pretty darn good.
You've seen him play, but then you look at guys like Perfetti, who's a commit to Michigan, NCAA, but he'll still get drafted. And you throw in that you got Drysdale, Layden Moore, Valad, Foodie, O'Rourke, even Daniel Chaika from the Junior Canadians. There's a lot of GTHL representation. Owen Power has gone for some great skates tonight as an offensive type player, but he is your shutdown defenseman who can contribute on the power play. So a lot of numbers are being tagged here. And really, if you're a scout, can you go wrong recommending any one of those names if it's your team's turn to draft in the OHL? So
I think if you get a top 5 pick, you're going, okay, we're good.
Absolutely. So Team Clark and Black's got a little bit of a power play here, and look at who's out in the ice first. Perfetti's already behind everybody. That's how fast he is.
Look there, instead of trying to create something offensively, eating some clock. Pins the puck along the boards, then rings it back out for Drysdale. And there's O'Rourke right on target. Clark will leave for Power. Speaking of, big defenseman with the long reach, head up here, skating out of his own end. He'll have to peel back as he just mishandled it as he approached the blue line. He'll drop it for Foodie. There you go, if you give this guy some time and space. Foodie enters the zone with patience now. He thought about shooting for a second there, and then he peeled back to wait for some reinforcements to join him. Foodie has it now in the near side corner, back to Power. Power's wrister gets through. Verbetic, excuse me there. Just saw that at the last second and blockered it aside into the far corner. 25 seconds left in the power play. That shot stopped by Verbetic. It would be a Coney with the one-timer from the point. He has it again. He's got Power open here on the near side. A lot of room here as the points are wide open. That wrister's on target. Pass across. Oh, and Foodie. I believe Tulio got his stick there and just deflected that one up and over Foodie's stick. Otherwise, that's a no doubt second goal for Team Clark, but a good-looking power play here. Let's see if that leads to some more offense for them in the third period, as that's another stop by the big-bodied Verbetic as he plays around with the puck. And we have a stoppage in play with 18:24 to go in this third period.
Davis Young with the great pass gets it across, and this Team Clark, being coached from the GTHL side, Daniel Siska, the Junior Canadians, coming out with a purpose. The power play didn't really prove much for them, still coming out and working hard.
That puck, it bounces over the stick of Durazio. Now Uberti with a chance. Goes wide, centers there. Pappas with a chance. That one may have just gone off the pad and then just wide of the net. There's some good start to this period for Team Clark. What do you got to lose? Down by 2 in a Prospects game, go all out. As coming back the other way, that attempt on the short side. That was Eric Russell of the Vaughan Kings. That's a no-go, and coming back now Team Clark. And back to that end-to-end style that we saw in the first period so far. That's the sample we have in about 2 minutes and 16 seconds of play to start this period.
Well, Daniil Chayka trying to take a skate, and this is what you're going to see. Down by 2, the team in black, coached by Wendell Clark, with Shane Corson and Mike Weaver. They're going to get their defensemen involved. We already know Power's been trying. Chayka can do it. You got Porter as well. There's enough to come in on the back end. But you got to be good. If you miss the net partner, now you're in trouble if the other team gets the puck. So they got to get the puck on net and make life difficult for the goaltender.
And I know at this level and in some of these games, and we've seen attempts, you want to make that perfect tic-tac-toe play, Pete. But it might just be an ugly goal that'll get Clark's team back in this one.
You look at one of the power play goals we had, it was just a shot on goal, rebound, dig, dig, dig. I mean, that's how you're going to win championships.
That's a great outlet pass. Somehow threaded the needle there past 2 defenders. Initial chance was stopped. Now they battle in the corner on the far side. There's Graham. Graham with it, reverses it. Cairns working the cycle now.
That's his game. Puck possession. What a great play to pivot out there and get the pass into the slot.
And a little causing some trouble here for Team Graves. There's a hit thrown, and they're now winning some of these one-on-one battles, and it's leading to some chances and puck possession here in the offensive zone. This is a great start. We'll see if Team Clark can get rewarded with a goal to get back in this one. Comes out in front. That one's just shoveled wide by Cairns, and almost a chance for a 2-on-1.
Cairns is just controlling everything on that shift, not panicking, holding on to the puck, making sure. Now there's 6 skaters out for the team in black for Team Clark, and there's still going to be 6. The linesmen haven't noticed, the coaches haven't noticed. You and I.
There we go, they noticed.
I mean, you and I know we've gotten pretty good in the years of too many men and counting to 6 real quickly, but we're like, okay, this one's a little too obvious.
You've always said over the years I've been a little bit of a better referee.
You've improved, absolutely. And that's just like we said, they had some issues with line changes in the first period, and you don't know everybody, but it is a simple game. 3 guys come off, 3 guys come on. Coach Daniel Siska's got to put someone in the box right now. And that was at least 6 skaters on the ice for at least 20 seconds. So,
and we don't see a lot of them, but it's the 3rd power play of the game coming up for.
Well, Wendell Clark and Daniel Siska are kind of joking around with the linesman. There's got to be someone from the ice. And it looks like they found Bulovs, the Mississauga Senator player, to. Well, someone's got to sit. These guys aren't used to being selected as the guy that's got to sit in the penalty box.
My thoughts exactly.
And Bulovs has got enough skill and speed. He's like, you know what, I'll save a little energy. I'll come out and show everyone my speed game when I get out.
Speaking of speed game, we talked about what Foodie can do. How about Vlad as well for the Marlies, Pete? And
he's one of those highly rated guys. And what you really see is on the forecheck.
Yes.
I know the offensive game is the pretty game, but on the forecheck, you see what Vlad does at full speed, and he cuts. That's what OHL teams are looking for, a guy that's going to drive defensemen nuts.
Speaking of, here is Vlad to his teammate, Drysdale. He's got O'Rourke with him. Look at that, just absolutely no room and still finds a way to make a play. Does Drysdale with a player all over him.
And Drysdale loves being out there with O'Rourke because Ryan O'Rourke, the Von King product, so safe to play with, knows when to back up his partner. Now he's cheating in a bit. Drysdale knows that, and he's taking a few chances because he knows O'Rourke can get back on D on his own as well.
Well, here's an outlet, perhaps an offensive chance here for Team Clark. That one's taken wide. Wrister just goes wide. That's one of those that could have been dangerous, one that misses the net and has a big bounce out, but fortunately Dillingham Morelli, who's had a smart game at the back end.
So solid.
Yeah.
It won't make the highlights, but Dillingham Morelli makes it so easy. If you're a forward on his team, you can leave the zone knowing he's going to get the puck out to you.
Here's Cooley down low. Here's a pass back to Cooley. Almost looked like Alexander had enough space to really walk out in front. And Clark has made a couple of nice saves and a pretty good PK all in all here for the dark jerseys. 20 seconds to go in the power play here for Team Graves, Primo, and Tucker. It's out to the red line, chipped back. Look out, here comes Durazio.
You know, the best part, I still see Mike Weavers coaching the D. You can see it on the bench. He's treating it like a game, and the guys are saying, okay, I'll pick that up. I'll give it a try.
Well, there's a quick snapshot there from Peters. We're back to 5-on-5 as we approach the 14-minute mark here in the 3rd period. Quick shot there. That one, I think, hit Halliday. He uses his big frame to get possession back. That's a tough battle with number 12 and 8 behind the goal line. And it's Peters who skates out of it. Eludes Halliday. Piercy looks to get there. But again, look at that forecheck, Pete. Even when it looks like you're 2 feet away from exiting your own end, those Marlies find a way to get the puck back on their sticks. Bulovs out of the box.
There's the speed and some shiftiness. He had it there.
I was about to say, if he scored there, you can't really say, you never put me in the box again. When we have too many men out on the ice. As Halliday comes back, looking for the trailer. That deflects. Here we go again, the action picking up. Young with it. Young's got Porter. Now to Foodie. Foodie almost splits the D. Now 2 men are in front. The puck is bouncing and they were unable to get a good shot off. A bit of a break there for Team Graves, Primo, and Tucker. As this one's put on Chase Clark. The Toronto Young Nationals goalie has been very impressive coming in. In fact, both goaltenders, Tristan Lennox and Chase Clark, did a great job in net as this one bounces over the stick of Porter. Tulio is there. He made a great defensive play in this period in the defensive zone, was looking to create some offense. Now perhaps it'll be Team Clark who can do that. That's just out of the reach of Foodie. Cohen takes a bump from Moore. Back to the point, Pappas. Bianconi's there in support. And the gap was tight enough there, Bianconi, that you can't chip the puck past him and you're off to a 2-on-1. That's the little thing sometimes, is here's Power to Cohen. Quick puck movement now, Uberti pulls it to his backhand and goes wide. Tries to center it in front, and putting the glove on that one is Verbetic. Well, we talked about some of the players that are highly touted for the upcoming draft, but we also got the OHL Cup coming up, Pete, and the way some of these minor midget teams are playing, and it's not just the GTHL, some in the OMHA as well. There are some powerhouse teams that are going to make that shuffling of the top 10 interesting by the time the tournament starts.
Well, you've got a strong GTHL contingent. Then you got the Oakville Rangers that have had some very good tournament success, Barrie Colts. And it's interesting, we talked about Quinton Byfield and the York Simcoe Express. They're not in the top 10 right now. And to think of the OHL Cup without him, you got to figure the Express want to make sure they can get in there to have that big push. They've had so much success as a club, but certainly you talked about the guys from outside the G that we remember seeing, the Taylor Halls and players like that just dominated. It's always a great event.
Here's a chance. Oh, Power, he was looking for a deflection from Pappas, but he just couldn't get that one on net. You know, the York Simcoe Express, they've struggled a little bit of late. That's perhaps explains why they've fallen out of the top 10. But like you said, crazy to think with the star power that they have. But I'm sure we'll see them in that OHL Cup, and it'll be in tough against some of the opposition here in the GTHL. It'll be a lot of fun when we get there. And you and I will be here at the rink. I think we can guarantee that. Here's Graham, almost runs right through his man.
There's your forecheck, right?
Yeah.
There's your forecheck. Russell knew it was coming, couldn't get the puck out. And you can start to see Team Clark and Black taking some chances, partner, and they don't. They want to get back in this here. They want to get a couple goals on the board.
Just the lone goal, and it feels like so long ago. 1 minute and 28 seconds into the game. It was Robinson. But you know what? It's been an aggressive forecheck. It's not maybe necessarily the transition play that has found success for Team Graves. It's been playing well in the offensive zone, forechecking hard, winning your battles, and playing aggressively. Here's another example. Just a smart play back to the point. That shot gets through.
And Dillingham Morelli.
There he is.
On the offensive side, I need to get the puck on net. I do it. On the defensive side, I need to push people to the outside. And Verbetic luckily could see it because it was a great shot just from the point, needing a little bit of traffic.
Here's a face-off win. Whoa, that was almost a dangerous pass back to the point. Coming back is Cooley to Vlad. Vlad takes it to his forehand. Great read by Clark and some nice eye-hand coordination by Vlad as well. Moore intercepts that. Moore tries to make a couple moves at the blue line. That's a turnover, and usually a turnover at any of the Blues results in the opposition getting a scoring chance. That pass, though, nobody home, and coming right back. Here's Vlad again. Almost a repeat of what he did a few moments ago, but that's a real good stick by number 6, Owen Porter. Pass through for Jackson. Oh, that just unable to corral it. That was Bulov's. Now Haynes from his own blue. And can hit a player on the bench. So we'll stop things with 9:44 to go. No goals to speak of in this third period. 3 of them came in the first, 1 in the second. That would be for Team Graves as we take a look at Moore. And so it's a 3-1 lead.
Well, you look at some past rosters back in the day. We talked about that first Prospects game.
Yep.
Second one, Max Domi, Darnell Nurse, Jordan Subin, the Toronto Marlies, Nick Ricci, that Flyers-Marlies rivalry.
Yeah, that was big that year.
And then you see them going at it in the NHL, and I see them hitting each other, and I can kind of see a smirk on their face saying, okay, I don't want to hit you hard, but I got to hit you, right? Especially Domi when he's trying to hit the big Darnell Nurse there in Edmonton. Just fun to see these teammates from their youth show up at the NHL at the same time and have a little run at each other.
There's Porter, who almost looked like he was going to get caught. Nice stick lift, leads to a chance for Foodie. Foodie with Drysdale on him. That's showcasing the defensive side of the game. He's a defenseman, and all everyone wants to do almost is talk about what he can do offensively. It's a great example of his skating ability and a good smart stick check. Now coming there on the backhand, Peters, that one just goes wide. Here's that big line. The big players. O'Rourke. Shot there, up and over the net from Piercy. Porter. There it's chipped again. Power. There's someone who can match
He
in
wants to
size.
skate. He wants to skate, and they know it. Halliday's not letting him get going. I like the scouting report. When you know he wants to get going, get him when he's slow and hasn't started yet, because once he starts flying, you're not going to be able to reel him in.
It's dumped in as Team Graves makes changes. Oh, that's a good stick there. That was Anthony Constantini. Of course, his brother started the game, Marco. Both of them are Vaughn Kings. As this one's into the mesh, out of play. 8 minutes and 8 seconds to go in your 9th annual GTHL Top Prospects game.
How about the fights in that basement? One's a goalie, one's a defenseman. Takes some shots on me and then pegs him in the head, maybe with a tennis ball in the basement. And then I can see the goalie just losing it, saying, that's it.
Yep.
Mom and Dad must have been like, we'll just replace the drywall every 2 years once the boys figure it out.
You think the role reverses if that happens? So then the goalie says, I get to come out and use a player stick. You're not allowed to put on pads, and now you got to learn how to block shots.
We still watch games where somehow in the warm-up a guy injures his own goalie.
Yeah.
In NHL, they do it. OHL, AHL, we see it in the G. It's like, just shoot it at my pads. I'll make saves when I need to. You don't need to raise the puck. Yeah, a defenseman and a goalie in the same household.
Now picking up speed. Here's Biacconi. He seems to be getting more and more comfortable as this game has gone on, although that entry into the zone it goes off just over the boards and into the Graves Primo Tucker bench.
Well, the one thing with Biacconi, I've always said, he can get past that first player on the forecheck. That time, he decided to get past the first three on the forecheck.
Yeah.
The only problem was his teammates weren't sure where he was going, so he ran out of pass options.
It's interesting to see how that has become more and more common at the professional level, and now you see it more and more at the grassroots level when these guys are playing still in their minor hockey years. You're seeing that transitional defenseman who can be a fourth forward and can get back and play defenses. There's a shot that gets through and is kicked away. There's a chance now. Cohen with the shot. Oh, Team Clark coming so close in this period.
Oh, it's funny. Elias Cohen once again in the slot area. Seen him play a couple games this year. He's the creator. Today he's finding space to be in that. He must be saying, this is what it feels like when I'm playing with myself. I set up my teammates for the Senators. Now I'm getting set up. Now I know what it feels like to get a great pass. He just hasn't been able to beat the goaltender.
Simone. Another good offensive zone face-off win, and again, just working it along the boards right now for Team Clark. Yeah, I like it. It's been working.
Grinding, you talked about it. This is what's going to get them back in. They've got to be smart on their pinches, but they got to work hard too.
Oh, there's a nice move on the backhand. Percivali, another nice save though by Clark. He was going the other way that time, but unable to get a stick on that. And he was all tied up, was Russell. Let's work back to the point. Across for Moore. Almost mishandled it, and then he gets it down low. Graham throws another hit. He's done a few of those, and now almost blocks a shot, and they would have been off to the races 3-on-1, but puck stays in the offensive zone for the white jerseys. Russell has it. They finally do get it out. Simone from the red line chips it off the boards. Graham pursues it. Graham tried to go around Moore and pick his pocket. He's all over him still. And Moore, we know he likes to skate with it. And somehow he manages to escape that. There's that example. Okay, now if you hit him along the boards, is he going to lose the puck?
But he's so strong defensively, and he's not the tallest guy, so he's got this big, strong base. But tonight he's showing you more of the offensive game that maybe some of his teammates get credit for. He's showing you he can do a little bit of that as well.
And just offside.
Like, one thing with Moore is defensively, he never looks like he's out of position or chasing. And then he gets the chance to work on the offensive game, and you're like, oh, wait a second, you're not that guy. You've got a couple other things in your box of skills that work so well. It really comes down to, partners, when OHL teams draft, do they draft for need, or do they draft for what they think they'll need in a couple years, right? And I mean, 16-year-olds playing against 18, 19, 20-year-olds, it's hard to break in. Jamison Reese was a stud last year. He has 13 points in 10 games. He's injury issues, but it's tough to come into the OHL as a 16-year-old, as you see that scoops it out of the air, and have offensive success, right?
I mean, even you look at Ryan Merkley with the Guelph Storm, a team of last year that struggled a bit. Offensively, he put up some numbers, but you look at his plus-minus and you go, there's some work to do defensively.
No, and that team, his first year was awful.
Yeah, well.
So it's tough, but you look like a guy like Nicholas Porco was in this game last year, drafted high. He's not scoring a lot of goals, but he's playing, and you're right, keep the defensive side going, and the coach will keep putting you out.
Exactly.
I mean, Reese and Porco were two guys that were just offensive dynamos, and they're not tearing it up because they've got to grow into their role, right?
Oh, it's hard in your first year as a 16-year-old. You're playing against men now. Porco, though, I have no doubt as the years go by, Pete, he's going to be up there in the scoring for the OHL.
Oh, absolutely, from what we saw.
It'll be a matter of time.
And the funny thing is he's in Saginaw, so are we going to hear about it? Probably not. You're going to have to go find it in the highlights because those teams on the Michigan side we don't hear a lot about, and that's just the way it is, but he'll get his chance.
It's a marathon, not a sprint when it comes to success in your hockey career.
And you have two coaches here, Richard Power and Daniel Siska, that were teammates in the OHL. So they know what it's like. Siska, I remember, very offensively gifted, crazy numbers in the OHL. Power's game was a little bit different, but it shows you that, you can't just go in at 16 and dominate because you were great at minor midget. It's a craft. You've got to learn it.
Here's Piercy with a steal at his own blue line. Enters the zone, looking for a pass across. Too many dark jerseys in the way of that, as Young sifts one through. Picking it up is Robinson, the lone goal scorer here. We've got less than 4 minutes to go for Team Clark to get something going. It's been a real good period for them, Pete. In fact, you could probably say it's been their best when you look at it in a large sample size, as we've only got 3:56 to go. Literally the only thing they haven't done is score that big goal to get them back in.
And it's the D-core that's been great. Thomas Haynes has been pushing everyone to the outside. We talked about Dillingham Morelli. It's just they haven't been able to beat the goaltender, but the 6 defensemen for Team Clark
there's another
get
big
in the
play.
upper hand. There's Power saying, okay, keep talking about the defenseman in black. I'm one of those guys. But yeah, the goaltender's been tough to beat. And think about it. You're in one of the biggest games of your career as a backup goalie. You've never done that before. You show up at the rink, and you don't get to play for another 2.5 hours, probably by the time the second period switch comes in. And we haven't seen a goal get scored on either one of these goalies.
Yeah. Well, the scouts and fans alike have been treated here. Oh, Foodie with the patience. Foodie with the shot. That one somehow stays out as Clark's off to the bench. But it's been a real treat. It's a packed barn here at the Scotiabank Pond. And like you said, the scouts have decisions to make. It's not about talent. It's about who's going to go where, because there's a plethora of talent here on the ice tonight. There's Foodie again with it. Biacconi winds up, shoots. That one hits a body and doesn't get through. And it's cleared down the ice. That should be an icing. It's interesting, too, always, because at this age, in their heads, too, they're thinking about the draft, they're thinking about the scout, but you just got to go in and play your game. Don't play outside of your abilities. And what we're seeing here are shutdown D, shutting it down. Fast skating players flying through the zone, all 3 zones. What these players are good at, they're sticking to it, and it's what's worked here in this game.
Oh, absolutely. Even you look at Nick Anero from the Marlies, number 7. He's a guy that can control it from the back end. Not the biggest defenseman, but the game has really changed from what you and I used to watch.
Yes.
For lack of better words, Rock'em Sock'em that Don Cherry's been known for.
That's perfect tie-into tonight.
But the minute you said Mitch Marnie, Johnny Gaudreau, that is where the game is going. And if you're 6'4", you got to learn to play with some skill. And if you're 5'4", you've got skill, you've got a chance.
Yep. 2:10 to go here in this third period. 6-on-5 for Team Clark. Dillingham Morelli. You know what's great here, Pete? The guys in the white jerseys, all of them coming out in shot block lane. There's a shot block right there. None of them wanting to, or all of them willing to sacrifice their body to ensure that a goal doesn't go in, as here's an icing. But literally in that last sequence, you saw every forward coming out as they rotated right out to the point, down on a knee, trying to make sure they get the job done.
Everyone's showing that they can do a little bit more than what the scouting report says, right? And at every level. That's why when you see guys at the NHL that don't try very hard and you start to get, you kind of say, okay, what happened to you, man? You used to do everything and now you're not doing it all. But
I always find it interesting as here's Jackson, and Pappas along the sideboards. As I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, Porter tries to keep it alive. Here's Perfetti, cross ice, Tullio, and that should do it with 1:32 to go. Perfetti to Tullio, and make it 4-1 for Graves, Primo, and Tucker as the two Vaughn Kings get on the board. It was all Marley's offensively for that side, a couple Vaughn Kings get them into it, and it's a 4-1 lead, and that should do it. And what I wanted to say, and I brought it up earlier at the start of the broadcast, I always found this interesting because obviously scouts are looking for skilled guys. One of the big things they do is they'll contact coaches, they'll contact previous coaches. What's this guy like? As here's a break here and a chance. Oh, nice save by Clark. He's been unbelievable coming in this game. They go, what's he like in school? What are his grades like? Is he good in the room? Is he the type of guy that's a leader in there and brings other guys? Does he work hard at practice? All those little things. Now that it's so easy to get the scouting report on the skill that these guys have. Is look at Russell here, great effort with a minute to go. Oh, that one goes off his skate. Here's Russell again. Russell scores. That's just a relentless attack from Team White and a couple of bad bounces there.
there wasn't a lot of puck luck on that
No.
shift right there, but that doesn't take away from the hard forecheck. Russell and the crew were out there working hard. And with a minute to go, I mean, I kind of know where we're going to go. Each team has an MVP. I can see the one in white. For Team Graves, Tucker, Primo, Black, I've got a whole bunch of guys all at the top of the list. It's going to be a tough selection for the guys making the, and I don't even know who's got the tough selection. So
Yeah.
I've got it easy. I can speculate, but I don't have to actually put a name on a piece of paper.
Here's Foodie for Team Clark. That one almost gets through, and Cohen. Talk about this. We didn't get much scoring in this period, and then with a minute and a half to go, we get 2 goals for Team Graves, and Team Clark looking for another one. You know, I kind of have an idea of who my MVP would be, but got a couple guys. I got it down to 2 guys for the dark jerseys and 2 guys for the white jerseys.
Are you going to let everyone know?
I don't
Put
know
it on
about
the line and see where it's at?
Or are you?
Well, I think I got to go Piercy. I mean, points-wise, forecheck-wise, playing that two-way game, he's produced. And then you got a whole bunch of players on Black that you could look at. I mean, Fruity. You could look at Power.
I like Piercy as on one side, and I liked Foodie and potentially Chase Clark coming in for the Toronto Young Nationals. Thought he showed a lot of poise.
Yeah,
but you know, I always like to give love to the goalies.
If that one goal doesn't really, you're looking at it's 4-1. It's kind of a cheapie, and there's Fruity.
Oh, we get a breakaway, and it's in, but it's in well after the buzzer, and that will do it. Team Graves, Primo, and Tucker with the 5-1 victory over Team Clark, Weaver, and Corson. Give your goal scorers: Peters, 2 for Piercy, Tullio and Russell. For the white side, for the dark jerseys, it was Dylan Robinson who opened up the scoring, and that's all they could muster up. Not to say, though, that they didn't have their chances, especially in that third period. I thought it was a great period. They were just unable to score. And here's the awesome thing. What you got to love after a hard-fought GTHL Top Prospects game, they meet there at center ice before they announce who the players of the game are. Shake hands, because these guys are going to be getting even more familiar with each other, Pete, because it is not far until we're talking playoffs here for this minor midget AAA loop.
Well, you got the Toronto Marlies Winter Classic, which pretty well every minor midget AAA team in North America is at.
Yep.
Then you've got a very quick end of the regular season, because they've got to be done a lot sooner, right? OHL Cup's a little bit sooner, so playoffs will be around the corner. by the third week of January, minor midget AAA is going to be in playoffs. So these guys are a little bit farther ahead than some of the other age groups in terms of when they started and where they are in terms of number of games in the regular season ending. They're setting up for the MVPs, which are named after one of our dear friends, Tyler Craig, who we lost a couple of years ago. It was in and around this game 2 years ago. And the player of the game for each team, it's the Tyler Craig, and that's still awesome that we can keep him in our memories.
Absolutely. One of the best guys that you could hang out with around the rink and before any of our broadcasts.
Even after he lost.
Yep.
Under Armour is the official sports apparel partner of the GTHL and shares our goal to make all of our athletes reach their full performance potential. Dan Schofield, Senior Sports Marketing Manager, will be presenting MVP winners for each team with an Under Armour prize pack, which includes a $250 gift. Joining him is GTHL President Don West. And presenting the Tyler Craig Memorial MVP Award to the player of the game for each team is Donald S. Cherry. Ladies and gentlemen, the player of the game from Team Graves Primo Tucker is number 15, Riley Piercy. Should I do the other one? Wait. No, see, they're smart. They have it set up so it blocks us out, right? Ladies and gentlemen, the player of the game from Team Clark Corson Weaver is the goaltender number 30, Chase Clark. What's going on? Oh, he's taking his helmet off. Okay. A quick reminder that GameOnStream has recorded the 9th annual GTHL Top Prospects game powered by Under Armour. The recording will be available on GTHLCanada.com at a later date. To find out how to watch live and on-demand GTHL game action, visit GTHL.GameOnStream.com. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it one more time for everyone here tonight. On behalf of the GTHL, Under Armour, everyone here at the Scotiabank Pond, and myself, Doug Ireland, thank you all for coming out tonight, and please have a safe and happy holiday season. What's this for?
Both of their names on it stays in the league.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winners of tonight's game, Team Graves Primo Tucker.
And there you have it. Taking a look at the victors, Team Graves Primo, and Tucker there with Mr. Don Cherry. Thumbs up at center ice. And they get it done. A great 9th annual Top Prospects game. Once again, a great job done here by the GTHL, all involved. It was, of course, powered by Under Armour, as both teams will now get together.
Don wants everybody in a big picture, so that's
right on, as he should.
The 40.
A little bit of love for
actually,
everybody.
might do each team this time because he knows trying to get 40 players into the game, and then sometimes he's invited the refs, literally the timekeeper. Everyone gets in the shot, so an opportunity. The players love Don, and he'd be here all night if we didn't tell him, hey, Don, you can get out the side door now, because he says yes to everybody. He's joined us on broadcast,
yes.
And you really appreciate the fact he lives in Toronto. He doesn't hide the fact he comes to a lot of games, talks about it nationally. And you know what? It's just the way it is. If people in Calgary want Don to come out to Calgary, they should give him a shout.
Well, here we are to close it out now. It's myself, Bill Giannopoulos, and Peter Curtis. One last time here before we say goodnight on our 6th in a row, but 9th annual GTHL Top Prospects game. And one thing I do want to say is to all the family, friends, scouts, everybody who watched this, we'll want to thank you for welcoming us back into your home. I mean, this is something we've loved doing over the years, Pete, and we wanted to take our time to thank you. We've had a great time. Hopefully there's more to come. Really, your thoughts, though, on this game, because you called it, it's been a bit of a track meet, then it got a little physical, but really it was the skill and speed game that we saw for what was mostly of the duration of the 60 minutes.
And you always see the skill at one end, the offensive end. You see that regular season. Then in a game like this, you see the skill on the defensive end, right? Guys back checking, guys getting into proper position. The scouts love it. I love it for entertainment. And we're not here just to get scouts out, right? We're here to recognize some players, celebrate the league, and watch a great hockey game. And once again, it doesn't let us down.
Yeah, absolutely. We were not disappointed. And one quick note, I mentioned Chase Clark. So I'm going to have to, and you know what? You got the other one.
Absolutely.
You got the other
I'll
one.
give
So
you credit.
we got one each. But you know what? We talk so much about the forwards and the defensemen, but every year, and it almost seems more and more, and you mentioned how much better the goaltending has been getting over the years. I think every year we're focusing more and more on the guys at the back end at these prospect games.
Well, Spencer Martin was one of the first guys, and he's there in that Colorado system, and we said Helvig, LaFontaine, keep track of the 4 goalies here. You might see them down the road in a bigger position.
Yeah, absolutely. So that'll do it for us here at the Scotiabank Pond. Once again, we had a great time calling this game, and we want to thank everyone involved for putting on a great production here from the Scotiabank Pond. One last time, Bill Giannopoulos, the man, Peter Curtis, and we hope to see you soon once again calling some more GTHL hockey action.